It's Friday, my dudes. TGIF, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Flat Earth Friday Fringe Cast. We are joined with Adam Meakin, Zachary Zabala, Walt Johnson. My name is Josh Corey. We've got a great guest lined up for you this week. We've got one Mr. Martin Kinney coming up at the top of the next hour. I'm glad to see everybody here. Stick around and welcome to the Iron Realm. And thank God you're all here with us this fabulous Friday afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are across this fine plain, as one Walt would say. Welcome. Let me get a quick few hellos out of the way. I see Adam is here joining us. Adam, how are you doing this afternoon? How's your week been?
I'm having a lovely evening. It's been a busy
all you got to
week.
do is unmute real quick. Forgot you muted up, didn't you? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Schoolboy error again. Schoolboy error. Yeah. I'm having a lovely evening, mate. Lovely evening. It's been a... You know, when you get back off holiday, it's hard work settling back in. I'm settling in with defiance. It's slow accepted. But yeah, it's been a funny week, so yeah, it's lovely to get to a Friday. TGIF, mate.
TGIF. Thanks a lot for handling the controls this week, Adam. Glad to have you back at it. My lame ass one that I was using 6 months ago. You've got all the cool stuff going for OBS.
Been playing again this week. That's the other thing I've been doing in my spare time. Obviously, the computer blowing up when I got back a couple of weeks ago was not good. So yeah, I've been setting up again and gingering for a good while in my spare time. So hopefully things run smoothly. So far, so good. Well, I say that.
I'm digging them. They're looking good.
We've already had the customary gremlins, though, haven't we? Hence the slight 10-minute delay. So.
Oh, you gotta have customary gremlins.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of our customary gremlins, we have Walter Johnson and Zachary Zabala with us, trying to battle those gremlins. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're fine, other than the fact that this morning we had a beautiful sound, awesome, 2 microphones. Shout out to my buddy John, who let me borrow one of his expensive condenser mics set up on the table with a nice little stand. You heard it this morning, Josh. It sounded beautiful. And here we go. It's, it's frustrating. We can't even, I don't know. Is it possibly an OBS thing as we sat here and Zach and I realized that it's possible, maybe? I don't know.
No,
that's the only new factor here is OBS, because this morning we were on Skype fine with it,
and it's showing Skype. I mean,
we're seeing it move every time he talks over there, so I don't get it. Anyway,
just speak again, Zach.
Speaking of Zach, look everybody, Zach, 2 nice 4 rice right here in the house. It's real. We're not clones. We're not holograms. We're not just talking heads on a screen. It's real folk. At least to us, we're still talking heads to you.
Just checking them t-shirts out, boys.
Hey, look, what? And then we're not finished. I've got a hat here somewhere, but it's in the mix. Who knows? Probably in the living room. I'll put it on during the break.
We'll be you real soon, Adam.
The Dipsy Twins after the break.
Looking forward.
Hey, is my hat right there on the couch? dearest one. Everybody, dearest one.
Hi, dearest
The
one.
face. I knew I would get the face.
Leave me alone.
I'll just put it on over my mic. Over my headset for now. All right.
See, that looks like you've not given it time to mold yet, Joe. Oh well.
No, I just
time
have
to mold around that head. You look like a Smurf.
Hold on. Let's make it official. If we're gonna go, let's go. This is not Haley's, is it?
No, that's yours. Breaking in.
Now, you'll have to break in.
It's starting to look a little bit cult-like, guys. You look like the Moonies.
The only problem is it is kind of thick, and I can't really hear you through my headset now. Talk.
Microphone check 1 2.
It's some serious thick stuff. That's crazy. All right. All right. Now, there we go. I can hear you.
Go. Well, I know we got a picture of Zachary and I in our Iron Realm t-shirts with our hats on.
See, there is something going on, definitely, with Skype or YouTube, because since we've started this show, I can know it wasn't the hat. It's now I can't hear you guys, and he can't either, and I haven't touched anything. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Our apologies. It's not us. I promise.
Huh. You guys just can't anymore.
You're
That's strange.
And I did reset everything. Finally, I didn't want to reset the computer. I did reset the internet, but who knows? Let's move on. I'll just take a flame thrower to it during the break and see if that fixes it.
Well, I'm going to have to go run a few errands. Got to go take my boy to work. But I know Adam's been a busy boy this week and has plenty of stuff to go over while I jet out of here. And I should make it back just in time to add Martin to the call, because I think that's going to be great. And with Martin Kinney coming on, anybody that's been listening to us for a while knows that if Martin is coming on here, then we should be expecting a phone call from someone that has been really wanting to talk to Martin. So there's a good chance, I've been told it's about an 80% chance that phone call will be made this evening while we have Martin in studio. Well, not in studio, but we have Martin on the line. So that's at least a little something to look forward to. And I will try to encourage that to happen, because we haven't spoken to that gentleman in quite a while. But Martin Kinney should be coming up at the top of the next hour, hopefully. And with that, gentlemen, I'm going to bounce out of here. So you guys cover, you have fun, you guys talk it up, because I know Adam had a great appearance over there on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. Just, was that 2 days ago? Something like that? And that was really cool.
Wednesday, wasn't it?
For all of our long-time listeners, it's not going to be necessarily a new presentation, but Adam did bring up a good point earlier this week that we need to start rehashing some of our stuff. We've been doing this for 2 years. We've got lots of stuff out there that we could reintroduce. Some things that are probably a little more old hat now these days, but 2 years ago it was pretty revolutionary. Just nobody was listening.
Nobody knew, right? That's okay. Once it counted new, they were here with the sensitive.
I think it was all new. All frozen.
Stuff that I saw up north, northern Indiana even. But once you get out of the hills and down into this flat plain, once it's about 100-foot elevation, everything turns different. It's because this is the first time I've ever traveled and paid attention to all the bugs and the plant life and all that kind of stuff. And it's not just the animals that change, everything changes. I mean, the oak trees have different. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Sorry, my whole Skype just crashed there. I think it went out on the YouTube, just crashed, and died. So we're just back. So sorry about that. That was. Wait, is Josh gone?
Right. He took off. to go get his son or take his son. I'm not sure which direction he was headed. Are you hearing me fine now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine now. We look fine.
Can you hear me through
Live,
this
is
mic?
everything good? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Can you hear me through this mic?
Yeah, I can now.
See? I knew it was a good mic. All right, so now we don't have to hug each other. I'm gonna miss you.
Oh, I know.
Oh, forget it. Just pretend the mic don't work. Switch it off, Zach. Switch it
Right?
off.
Fuck that mic. All right, let's see.
But yeah, we went out on the water.
We'll put this over here for a second.
One of Scott,
Scott. I'll be Scott.
one of Walt's buddies. I don't know. I don't even know a Scott.
Maybe that's my secret name. I didn't know.
But no, we went out with one of Walt's buddies, and he took us. What is that called? The inner.
We started out at the Sherrington Cut, which meets up with the lake entrance to the Intercoastal Waterway, which actually runs from Florida all the way into Texas, almost down to Brownsville, which is right next to Mexico. So that's why they call it the Intercoastal. And it literally is opening up to the Gulf. So it's all interconnected down here. Once you leave the foot area of Louisiana, it's all waterways that are all interconnected with land. I wanted to take him over onto the Chapelai Basin side, because over there we could have gotten like up on some sandbars, gotten out and, you know, actually intermingled with some of the wildlife possibly. And the Gator Cove that we know about there, we just couldn't get to any of that because of the weather. We lucked out and had about an hour's worth of calm, so we could even get out on that open lake. Because if the water starts getting windy out here, even those 2 and 3 foot waves can really knock a little boat around like we were in. So.
Is that where, are you talking about where you two nicked off to the other night?
Yeah, when we turned live on Skype and you saw us going down that little canal, that's a bayou. It's it's a cut, like a bayou. People have houses on the back of it. And he has a boat ramp right off the back of where he's going to be living here in about 6-8 months. So it's his dad's old house that he kind of inherited and is renovating. And so, but that's where he grew up. And if anyone knows this area, it's my buddy Errol. He is, he loves plant life. Like, man, when I took him Zach over to his house, he was blown away by all the plants and stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna get the camera hooked up here, trying to do it right now, but so far it hasn't apparently recognized it. I don't know what I have to do. I'm gonna dig around and find it on the computer here while Zach tells you the story instead of me doing it.
Yeah, we're out on the waterway, and well, first off, if you're not used to having a predator in your area, it's a shock when you see your first 5-6 foot alligator just hanging out on the side of the road, you know, with his head like halfway in the road. I was not expecting that. To have something that could eat my buddy that's riding in my car with me, you know. Well, up where I'm from, like, we get deer and maybe a big badger or something like that, but we don't have bears or anything that's like.
Are they big enough to take Hank? These.
Oh yeah. There's some. I didn't see them. But there's some 8-9 footers out there that are easily they'd take Hank. They probably wouldn't go for him because of his size. Walt was telling me it's usually the smaller dogs, things like that they go after.
But if we out there where we would have been to that Gator Cove, the ones that are out there, they definitely wouldn't have been afraid of Hank. They would have grabbed at him if they'd have thought they could have got to him. You know, if he'd have been out on a bank by himself and we hadn't been around or anything like that, yeah, he would have been an option for sure.
Yeah, I've been in super dad mode, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. I don't let him near the water. I'm always between him and the water out here.
Super dad mode.
Almost got stuck out in the bayou. No phone signal or nothing. Thank God I've been stuck in the snow 100 times and knew how to get myself out of that. Mud is a little bit different, but
Yeah, just a bit. Okay, I'm gonna unplug this one.
yeah, it is though, folks. If you can come down to southern Louisiana, it's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Aha!
And the trees, oh my lord, 8 foot, 10 foot diameter.
Aha.
Some of these trees, just like right across the street, enormous trees.
All right, this is looking promising. I'm seeing folders and images.
How old are some of those?
Oh, man.
What kind of trees are they out?
They're
on the
live
water?
oak. Oh, the cypress. Yeah,
Cypress
some of
trees.
those are hundreds of years old, literally. You know, I
These
mean,
ones that grow out of the water, right out in the middle of the water, and they fought so many hurricanes and so much bad weather. the base of them is huge. It'll be 10 feet easy across.
That's gonna be these, right?
And then it comes up, and you can see all these broken. It's amazing. These trees have been battling.
So this is where you were.
I don't know. I've taken so many pictures.
Because I don't recognize that.
I don't recognize that either. That's an early one. Yeah, that's in
Okay,
Illinois.
I went to just the bottom to see what it started with. Cool. We should share all these.
Yeah, I've been taking a lot of pictures.
Let me see how many before we get too crazy.
I actually took a few pictures with a couple people. People asked me to take their pictures.
All right, let me see.
And that's something that I don't do a whole lot of.
Okay, I'm starting to see waterways now.
A lot of scenic pics, a lot of bugs.
Would it be in here?
Yeah. Yeah, you want to go down here somewhere. There's 826, 9.
Right, I got you. All right. Okay, I think we're getting there. There we go.
9-6, that wasn't here though.
Howdy.
There's some Louisiana ones.
All right.
A lot of mushrooms. I've taken so
All
many
right.
pictures of mushrooms.
Here, let's just start here. Let me try to share and see how long I can do that. I'm going to turn our camera off. Try to. I don't need to do that. I need to do that.
But yeah, it's gorgeous. Look at it.
You sharing
glad
screens?
that
That's it.
New Walt. Glad I know Walt.
Are you
I
sharing
had a-
screens there,
yeah.
Walt?
I am. Are you seeing me yet? Uh-oh.
Yeah, let me give you a better window to.
That ain't good. Damn. Is it all right?
Yeah, this thing's a beast.
Good. Speaking of a beast, we'll start with the beast.
Oh, wait,
Yeah, I saw it on my way out to the
there you go.
truck almost got stuck right down the road from that thing.
So are you seeing it, guys?
Yeah, that just looks like a big handbag.
Yeah.
I'm not shaking.
It's not one of the bigger ones, but it definitely wouldn't,
I wouldn't
I
go
know
near
it's
it.
like-
Like,
certainly if Hank got close to it, it would attempt to get him, no doubt. I mean, once it gets a hold of some limb and starts twisting, it'll get something to eat. You may be maimed for life and live through it, but, it's going to probably take a snack. Because that's their weapon, is they grab a hold, clamp down, and start just twisting themselves, literally trying to pull something off. Sharing some awesome stories for y'all.
Yeah, it is weird being that close to a predator like that, an alpha predator that has no, man is its only thing that hunts it. There's one floating down the river. It's weird. I was trying to get a picture of it, and it disappeared, and I was waiting forever, and these are all over down here. We don't get those up north. Is that a crane?
That is a crane.
Yeah, we get the blue herring cranes up north.
Yeah, we have some of those here too. Wow. That's an awesome shot.
Yeah, I got that from the boat too.
I know, I remember where you were.
Yeah, it came out that good.
So this is right here, and then there's the open water.
that looks bent. That looks curved.
That's showing the curve of the earth. This is it. This is our coming out. Me and Zach have gone back on the ball. No, it's probably a lens barrel distortion thing. I would
This
guess
is closer.
to me, or is that closer?
These are closer in the
So
middle. Is
this
further
is
away.
closer, and it's curved out. Oh, I know where you're pointing. Yeah, he's right. That's a big alcove going out that direction.
Huge, and it's only like 4 feet deep out there. Yeah, look at the base of some of these trees.
This is the cypress.
And they're not very tall. Out of focus.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's hard to take a picture from a boat.
Yeah.
It's constantly rocking and moving. You can see how these trees have been at the bases just ripped off so many times and then just keep growing.
Yeah, that's why it's so thick here, but
Whoa.
gets thinner and it goes up. Because these are all like blowing off and breaking off every time a hurricane comes through.
Is that like a mangrove area then? Is that like these trees all the way back there, are they all growing out the water, or is that just?
Yeah, this is out of the water. Yeah, this is all water back here, and there's reeds and stuff. I mean, we're probably less than half a mile from shore here, so this goes up into the shore area, like to the right over here. You can see the levee behind here, which is about maybe a half mile away. We didn't really want to get too far out into the deep part in case another storm blew up, because it's been storming here pretty much, or raining or blowing or whatever, since he's been here
all day before that. Yeah, and a lot of them you could feed through the bottom. There's holes in them. See that?
Hey guys.
Hi,
Is that mine?
I believe it.
Yes, it is.
We're just We're just catching up on the guys' reunion this week. Sorry, dude. Good evening.
Welcome, sir.
Sorry, am I interrupting or?
No, no.
Ever interrupting. Ever. We welcome you heartily here to the show, sir. We are actually all spread across the plane here. The Iron Realm media team have never actually met in person, and our good friend that's sitting here next to me in studio. Oh, sorry. Let me get my camera back on. This guy, Zach, has decided to hit out on the road, leave his life behind, and explore the world. And he actually has already stopped in Josh's place in Missouri last Friday, and now he's made it down here to Louisiana for this show Friday. So,
oh wow,
there was a show in between too.
Oh, that's right. We did do a show in between. That's true.
Yeah, this is the first time you guys have met.
Yeah, this is the first time we've been face to face. This is my life. It's real. It's not just a computer head. So.
Wow. How long have you guys been? How long have you known each other?
Well, all the team have been together about 2 years or so. We got this guy got a year ago hanging out with us on TFR, and we fell in love with his work and his spirit, and his soul just spoke to us, and we invited him on the team. I don't know. How long has it been now, you ask? How long do you think?
3-4 months maybe?
Yeah, so
something like that.
Yep. So he's the one going to stitch us all together. Next he'll be heading out across the pond there and come see you guys.
Yeah. We're doing a crowdfunder for a kayak.
There we go. You and Hank across the sea.
Do it.
I was thinking.
Wow, this is exciting stuff. Well done, guys.
And I took him out. He's never seen South Louisiana, so I've got a buddy that's really familiar with the waterways here. So we took him out and showed him some sides and some open lakes and some cypress trees and stuff. So
it blew my mind. It's a totally different world than most of the other country that I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like it's a little habitat to its own here in the Mississippi Delta Basin. It's just you go out in the grass and your feet, you're squishing. You're like stepping in.
Well, this is the wet time of year. Once it starts raining here in the rainy season, it's just straight saturated soil, and it's literally like a sponge you're walking on. He's not wrong. If you jump real hard, you'll make a puddle under yourself.
Wow. Is that like everywhere in sort of a certain vicinity, or?
We're right off the Mississippi River. It's pretty much built on the silt that has been here over the centuries. So we're literally sitting on swamp and floating on, like our roadways here are made in about 50-foot sections, so that it can float back and forth and create like little levels. So you're kind of going all the way down the road, and that way when the land does shift with the water and stuff, it doesn't just break the whole road apart. It just breaks the sections if it breaks anything, So it's wet down here. That's why we have so much fun when hurricanes and stuff come, because once it starts flooding here, there's nowhere for the water to go. The land saturates and it just takes over. Everything gets flooded. But
there's just so much we don't know about this world. All these different places and the different ecosystems, and there's just so much we don't know about where we are, isn't it?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned so much in the last 3 weeks, just seeing this country. And I've done all state parks usually. I stay at I try to find one for free. There's a lot of free camping across the United States. A lot of the state parks and stuff, and it's just gorgeous. Yeah, this is the first time I've done any of this and paid attention to all the different plant life and all the different flora. And like in Walt's yard, there's 4 different types of flowers that he has just growing that I've never seen before. And they call them weeds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's this pretty beautiful flower. They say, yeah, it grows all over. We can't get rid of it.
See, what you've
Wow.
walked in on is, Martin, is with John Savage, who's not here tonight, and Josh will be here later, is a group of old men in their midlife, and Zach is the one that's been brave enough to chuck it all in and embark on this mission. So we're all kind of living vicariously through him.
Yes, we are. Yeah, it's taking everything with him not to pack a bag and take off with him when he heads out. Trust me.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of that going on at the moment. There are a lot of people who are sort of picking up stick and taking leaps, I guess, on their journey, but not just mentally anymore, but physically as well. That makes sense?
Iron was hot. It was, I've been wanting to do it forever. It's been like 20-something years, 29 years now that I've been planning this. But for the last 5, I've been really planning it. And it just, all the dominoes fell into place, and it was either go now or, sign a lease somewhere, try to buy a house, this or that. And I didn't want to do that. But New Mexico has been calling me for a long time.
Wow.
Wow. So I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to go check it out and see what I can do out there. I want to find a medicine person that's going to teach me how to make medicine the old-fashioned way.
Wow. Well, it's funny you're saying that, because I just connected with a friend of mine who was out in Spain, living in Spain, and he went off-grid about 2 years ago, completely off-grid. He bought this property in the middle of nowhere, self-sufficient completely, and he's just been alone out there. So he's come back to try and connect, and we've got in touch, and he spent a few days here at the house, and we're talking about doing the same, following, just going off-grid and connecting with the elements, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. I'm trying to reconnect with nature. Yeah, look at this little thing. Can they see this?
I don't know, John. Are you still? I mean, John. Sorry, Adam. Are you still showing the screen? Yeah. This thing, guys. I live here, and we had a flat Earth meetup at Lake Pontchartrain a few months back with some guys here in Louisiana, and I was, videoing the group, videoing the campsite where we were picnicking, and I suddenly saw this thing on the bench, and it was moving, and it looked like a stick, a little piece of stick. Just walking along, I'm like, what? I thought it was an ant carrying something. That's what I thought at first. And the more I looked, I realized that it was some kind of, I thought, little tiny crustacean that was living inside of a little tiny shell, because it literally is something that is inside that little stick you're seeing there.
Yeah, I think that's a little piece of wood, and it's made its like shell.
Oops. Yeah, somewhere I have a video of one of these things walking. It's literally living. Like, it comes out down here with little feet and legs, and this is like a house it lives in. I don't know what it is. I still have not found out what it is. So even I've discovered new things.
Wow. Brilliant.
Yeah, there's the weed.
Yeah, that's something we just get rid of in the backyard. Because we usually get rid of it before it ever flowers, we never see these beautiful flowers. And having someone here looking at it from a different perspective makes me see it from a different perspective.
Wow.
Shall we stop?
Absolutely.
Catching up and
yeah, we've hit the top of the hour with this. Let's stop the
maybe. Should we start again with a proper introduction?
Let the guests leave now. I mean, not the guests, but I feel like I've got the family trapped in the living room, and I've got the slideshow out showing them the vacation pics. So we'll stop. 1 second. Let me get this screen share off. I know I can do it.
I'll sort that as well. I mean, I'll start while you're doing that, just by
absolutely,
by saying, Martin, we met in the foyer at the Flat Earth conference. It was me with the iron stick.
Right, yeah, I remember.
Before we were kind of ran-raided by some young lasses.
Kind of hard to forget the iron stick.
Yeah. Brilliant time. I really enjoyed it, and
likewise, brother.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was fantastic to just kind of meet up with like-minded, a little bit like what the guys are doing there, just like a one-off event though. As we went to that,
Yeah.
it was fantastic to see what's scrolling on the screen now. We are not alone.
Yeah, definitely.
Part of Walt's poetry, and for me that was really important to really meet up with and see that there wasn't just one or two people from whatever walk of life, that it was just such a rich diversity of the UK population and Europe as well, and
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same. Um, it's really uplifting, isn't it? It's encouraging because a lot of the time it's all just online and all these people on the internet, and it doesn't feel as real as when you meet people in the physical, isn't it?
Totally.
And it's almost confirmation that, you know, this is whatever is happening, this awakening that we're talking about is really happening.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, Josh and Walt are the two first people I've ever met from the internet.
Wow.
This trip I'm taking. Yeah.
Same here. Same here. So they're not all a bunch of lunatics on the keyboard with tinfoil hats on. They're real loving people.
Yeah, and I felt so well both places. It's
I'll tell you, that was weird at the conference, you know, guys. I'd chatted with Martin Leakey, at the beginning of my journey, and what must have been three or so years ago. Time at like Bob from Glowbuster's first balloon release, chatting with him and stuff, and we kind of met up briefly, had a couple of chats and that. But as we were parting on the Sunday, it was the hug that we instantly gave each other as we said goodbye was just like, unplanned enough. That it was just instantaneous from both of us, and it's a weird paradigm, the internet, you know. But when you do meet people, there is something that's reassuring for yourself as well, you know, as well as very pleasurable to meet beautiful people.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better.
Whilst we were there, didn't we? The one thing that blew me away, mate, was your modelling of the cosmic egg.
I think that's blown us all away, the whole community. Believe me, it has definitely spoken to me. I found the Kobayashi map information a long time back, and then somebody put out the blue map, and it was like, that just spoke to so many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
But there were still many that opened up, like how does all these luminaries work? And when I saw the video that Norbz made based on your model, it was kind of like a ding, just it all seemed to fall into place, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly makes sense, isn't it? It's not the gospel truth, because we don't know the gospel truth, but well, I think that model makes the most sense so far. I think it's showing by how people resonate with certain things. I think that's a marker or indication that it's at least close to the truth. You see something and you just recognize it, and it's just a knowing, isn't it? An inner knowing that you can't explain. Yeah, so this is why it, shows like your guys and the different things that people are doing in the truth movement. This is why it's important to share it, I suppose. Because when you share something, it awakens something in someone, and collectively we all put the pieces together, and we figure this out.
Well, I'm typing and making noise and trying to get this mute button straight here. My apologies.
I was gonna say, with regards to that, there's a kind of a point when you get on this journey where you expect it to happen. How do you feel about, is there a time scale for you, or is it just about doing what you know is right and hoping you're blessed enough for it to happen in your lifetime? I mean, I don't know where you sit on that. Do you think it is something that is immediate, that's happening soon, or do you think it is?
What do you mean it? What?
In terms of a real paradigm change, in terms of the purpose for.
Yeah, definitely. I'm working on a video where I'll be explaining the cosmic clock that goes along with that model, like showing how universal time works. So just like we have seasons in a day, and seasons in a week, and seasons in a month, and seasons in a year, We also have what's known as cosmic seasons or ages, and these affect our conscious state of mind, but there are also different paradigm shifts that happen, physical ones, as well as conscious ones or mental ones. So
Mayan
we're
calendar.
approaching an apex at the moment, what's known as a cardinal point in time. If you think of a clock, we're approaching the 24-hour mark, basically. Not 24-hour clock, sorry, the 3 o'clock mark on a 12-hour clock. So at the 3 o'clock mark, which will be in 2020, astrologically, that will certainly be the trigger where we officially shift into a different age, different paradigm. If you want to put it a new world order, a new age, whatever you want to call it. But definitely there will be a physical paradigm shift that will happen over a small period of time
Do you
in
think
2020.
the Mayans may have known about this with their wheel calendar, how it had every so many thousand years something was, they had a marking for that as well.
Yep, yep. Galactic alignment. A lot of cultures called it the galactic alignment, and that's exactly what happens. All the seven planets in our universe, they all align. They all they all have a electromagnetic exchange, if you like, and that opens up the torus fields, the different torus fields on our plane, and yeah, and that will just that will happen over 7 days starting from 21st of the 12th, 2020, if the calendar is correct, that is, obviously.
Hmm.
So I think that's what the,
calendars and why they may have manipulated them to keep us
eh?
from actually knowing any of this. How they changed the calendar system on us.
Oh, yeah.
We knew these things at one time, and now we've been, led astray from the truth.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the ultimate game. People always ask, why would they lie? Why have we been lied to about all this stuff? I think a lot of it, especially why the lies have been amped up over the last 100 years for sure. Science and medicine and everything, poisoning us. Why this has increased over the last 100 years is to make sure that we are not prepared for this event that's going to happen, this galactic alignment. Because if we are prepared, we can literally change this paradigm overnight during that event. But if most of us in this realm are ignorant to what's happening, they can use that event to control people.
By
Does
that,
that make sense?
do you mean not survive outside of the system they've built for us, in terms of nutritionally, medicinally, the likes? Is that what you mean by not be prepared, or
Well, not be
spiritually as well?
prepared because everything in the universe is electromagnetic, right? Including your consciousness. Your consciousness has a frequency. That's what your soul is. That's what your spirit is. It's all frequency. Like Tesla said, if you want to know the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That's what God is, in essence. So if you know how to manipulate the electromagnetic frequency of people, which is what you call mind control or hypnotism, you're basically tuning that person's frequency using certain tools, magic or words or subservice, different methods, different things. So this is all they've done. So when you eat certain things, your body, your frequency is tuned into what you are, what you eat. That's where that comes from. When you watch certain things, certain information, that information is programmed into your frequency, right? So this is what programming is. So,
Yeah.
so all these things that
It's
they've done
called
to us,
programming for a reason, for sure.
Now, do you think
absolutely.
that
So
thing,
it's literally programming. So we are all electromagnetic, and if you know how to manipulate frequency, which is why there's a patent on a television, and the patent is under a mind control device, basically, because they're using it to tune our frequencies to believe certain things. So that's what it's all about. If we're distracted and we don't know who we are, and we don't know where we are, and we don't know why we're here, if certain things happen that are natural occurrences that are meant to help us shift in a certain way, and we are ignorant to what's happening, those who do know what's happening can manipulate that situation to their advantage and continue this paradigm of control. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not going off on a tangent.
Now, do you think that because vibrations and sound have so much to do with it, that when you say grace and you put this intent behind these words, that you're blessing the food and thanking it, do you think that actually may have an effect on the food before you eat it?
As far as like removing
thanking
some of
it
the
and,
the
removing
horrible
some of the
crap
bad
they've done
voodoo,
to it,
maybe.
right? I've thought the same thing, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Words are spells. I was just talking about this with a friend earlier on today. You know, this is why you spell things out. Spell your name. Spell this word out. Everything's a spell. So the words themselves are not the spell. What is the spell is the sound of the word. Sound, frequency, vibration. So when you say A, E, O, U, sounding out those vowels, that I, E, O, U, that is a magic spell. That is saying something. Right? That is real language. That is what language is derived from. So you're right in saying that if you say certain spells, they can certainly change the frequency of certain things. Right? You are what through sound, the word. And we are all gods, as we established.
In the beginning was the word, for sure.
Was the word. So absolutely our words have meaning. Unfortunately, languages like English, okay, that are not original languages, the sounds have been hidden in the words. So sometimes we're actually saying bad spells without knowing it, thinking we're saying good spells. So when you say to someone, good morning, what are you saying? What do you do in your morning?
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't say good morning.
I've tried my best to
Right?
stop. I've tried my best to stop blessing people when they sneeze.
There you go. There you go. So all these things are programmed into our languages for us to cast negative spells, which keeps everyone in illusion. And there are some words, like I learned today, the word cunt, is a good word. It means mother in Sanskrit. Right?
Yeah.
This is where the word country comes from. Mother country. Right? Cunt means mother. So they have people fearing this word. You know, when someone says cunt, it's supposed to be a swear word, when actually it's a good spell word. We should be saying it. And it shouldn't have been used as a negative connotation. So that's the reverse.
Well, just about anything that we've been told by authorities is good, we should look at as bad just about 9 times out of 10. And if it's been told to be bad, I'll go back and take a second look. I know that.
It's the response it generates, that word. It was something I looked into. There's a whole website. It's an Irish poet, female poet, and she's kind of started to research the word, take it back, for want of a better phrase. And I remember one of the things, it's the only word in the English language which is all encompassing of all of the female genitalia, in that it describes an entity. It's quite and I think you're right, Martin. It's quite an emotive word, and probably there is a reason that it's been again vilified.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's all in the sound and the tone. So you're right. Going back to your original question about when you pray, or when you say certain words before you eat food, the only thing is we don't know what those spells are saying, because our language has been manipulated. When we all spoke purer languages like Sanskrit, or the Hebrew languages, or the Latin languages, at least the sounds and the words had a correlation. They weren't as destroyed as our modern languages, I suppose. But above words is always intent. You know, where your heart is. So words again are spells.
I was about to say that. Is there within anybody's voice, as well as the words themselves, there's personality, and also of the person, and also the meaning in which they're saying any particular word, which can have different meanings. And does that frequency, I was going to say, have surely a bigger impact than
Absolutely.
any mysticism that's not known to the caster, for want of a better phrase?
Absolutely. This is why you should only ever say things you mean. Don't say things you don't mean. Because when you mean something, you're putting your intent, you're putting your signature on that, your electromagnetic signature on that phrase or that word, regardless of what the sound is. So overriding the actual sound itself that you're making is the intent of that sound. What do you intend to do? How are you feeling? That vibration is probably the most one. And that's what we call love, right? The highest one being love, the highest frequency being love. If you do anything with the intent of love, love trumps everything. God is love. So when you have a love frequency within you, you are God. You become God. And that's it. That's why love is probably in any religion, in any walk of life, in any reality, everyone will tell you that, you want to love and you want to be loved. That is the one emotion we all share in common. That's the one frequency we're all tuned into.
I think that's why they got rid of John Lennon, because he started speaking that word in so many of his songs and so much of everything there near the end.
Yeah.
He was really pushing that.
Wait, which John Lennon? No, I'm just kidding. Well, certainly frequency is what it's all about. I mean, even Zach here, we joke around and call him Zach Too Nice for Rice, because he attempted to do the rice experiment and exhibit, the different emotions, love, indifference, and hate towards sealed jars of rice. And we all knew this guy is never going to be able to hate anything, especially rice. So.
Yeah, and it stayed white, even all of it. I started not paying attention to any of it. And it's still, I don't know what happened. It didn't.
You just covered it all with so much positivity, it had no chance to mold.
Yeah, that's a compliment. That's a big compliment.
Well, I hope the name sticks with him forever, for sure.
I've got on the screen at the moment, Martin. Maybe we've covered a bit of, I think, an important point, which we certainly agree on, which is the purpose of us being here, and the cause, and certainly motivation is, as you say, to express love. And the one thing that I listened to your speech, and there was a lot of great stuff in there. Obviously, the one thing that blew me away was the model, and kind of really before we get into more of the deeper stuff, really, could we maybe cover, not necessarily, although I have got a question, right? When I first saw it, right, I did think, did this guy start off one Sunday afternoon just sitting there Sunday dinner, start shaping this stuff out of mashed potato? And the next thought I thought is,
this means something. Right?
Yeah, that. But the other thing is how nice is your wife if you got to build that at home? My wife is exceptionally generous. I don't know as if I'd have been gifted the opportunity to dominate the house so much, but with it, mate, I think it's a great explanator, along with yourself, of Cosmic Egg, and maybe you could just,
especially this advanced second version. My goodness, the work you must have put into that, man. Impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, it's there's no way I can explain it without sounding absolutely batshit crazy, basically. But the easiest way to put it is I had my awakening. I woke up to flat Earth, and from day one, it literally turned my world upside down, literally overnight. I became a flat earther. I left my job. I had a small business. I folded my business. Um, I became a vegan. I did all that in a week. So my world went completely upside down for whatever reasons, and I was in a dark place before that happened. But it's almost like I had a reset, like being born again, if you like. And I started again and decided that my mission in life was to figure out what the F in hell is going on. And I said, if I die trying, I'm going to have to die trying. I need to figure this out. I just had this yearning to want the answers. And I thought, well, if it is flat, who's lying? Why are they lying? If there's a dome, what's beyond the dome? What is God? Where are we? Why are we here? Where are we going? Is there a point to this? So those words literally plagued me. And I went into nutty professor mode, my wife calls it. And for about a year, literally, I neglected my family completely. I locked myself up in a room. I was getting ideas or visions, if you like. I was drawing them out. I was making models, remaking them. So I'd figure something out. I'd be like, oh, this is it. And then I'd wake up in the morning and go, just like an idea. Oh, no, it's not. It's this. And I quickly have to get a piece of paper and draw it out. So I was getting all these visions and these things, and I don't know where it was coming from. And I was just doing it. But it felt so right. It just felt like this is stuff I was remembering, like I knew it. I really can't explain it. But anyway, cut a long story short.
I think, mate, to be fair, and all of us have had that. Certainly those that committed honestly, the excitement of
that's why we're here.
Thinking, what the hell? What I know something's wrong, and it's in one field that we don't all necessarily stumble onto flat Earth first before knowing something's wrong.
Yeah.
But when you get to flat Earth, it is demonstrable, and consequently you are able to dive in more and more, and confirm that you aren't batshit crazy, as you put it. Do you know what I mean? And you are investing this time where, and I think this is the point. We've all kind of neglected our families in this because we all deep down know that it's whatever the answer is. There's truth in this, and
absolutely.
We have to not ignore it.
No, we can't. I don't think it's possible to ignore it. Once it awakens in you, you have to just follow that calling. You can't ignore it.
Yeah, it's really neat when you hear somebody say something and you get the chills because you just know it's the truth. But when you actually have your own idea and you get that feeling, it's like you said, it's like God is speaking to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
I've had a couple of those myself, and it's just like, wow, where did that come from?
Yeah. Yeah, and it feels like, you're the only one going through it. You're like, there's no way anyone's possibly seeing things the way I'm seeing them or feeling things the way I'm feeling them. It just feels so unique. And then you speak to people, or like in the case of the model, I did that, and then I showed it. The first person I showed it to was Santos. And I was like, look, Santos, I've been looking at stuff and I've been looking at this. What do you think about this? It was Santos who then started breaking it down and saying, oh, yeah, that makes sense because of this and this. You need to look into mythology, look into this topic, look into that topic. You'll see how your model's syncretizing with all this research. So I didn't do any research for the cosmic egg. That was all intuitive. It's only when I started researching it and looking at ancient mythology and ancient cultures, it was matching exactly what all the ancient cultures said about our universe. So for me, that was confirmation. That's what gave me confidence to now say, you know what? I can confidently present this out to the public and say, I found this, and feel like I'm not crazy because I've now got proof. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, proof's
so when I did that, and the response was just overwhelming, and everyone sort of clicked, and people were saying, oh, yeah, that's close to what I'd figured out. There were people sending me pictures of stuff they had done a few years ago of a cosmic egg. And they were all saying, I figured this out, but I didn't know how to express it or to say it because I thought people would think I'm crazy.
I think that's part of this thing, Martin, is that we've had to evolve the understanding, the language, the way to present this, like you've done with the model, like Norbz has taken it too and gave it a different spin. It's taken that long because, I've seen the stats that show this, this flat Earth undertone has been around for so long. And it's just finally we can express it in different ways that make sense to a mass of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what it is. It's all, we're all one. It's all trying to come together, find the pieces collectively, and basically figure this out and prepare, and prepare, basically. Prepare yourself spiritually in whatever way you can. Prepare yourself consciously, physically, mentally. And that's the secret to it. Enjoy the experience. Now, if you're lost and we don't know who we are, we're not seeking these things, then you're just going to be lost for a really long time, and it's not a nice place to be, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm not done experimenting and doing tests on this place quite yet, but I've come to the conclusion that no matter what it is, it's more important that I actually experience what's going on around me as much as possible. Take in everything. I'm not going to sit and wait for certain things to happen. I want to enjoy right now every second that I can.
Fantastic, brother. Fantastic. And that is the true essence of freedom. That is what being free is. It's coming out of those boxes and experiencing and living. Most of us are surviving. We wake up every morning, we go to work, we do the same thing, blah, 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 blah. We're not living. We're not alive, right? We're dead consciously. So when you're free from all those constraints, you are truly awake. You are truly, truly awake. So I've got this friend of mine who's off the grid completely. I mean, he's got no bills, he's got no name, he's got no ID, nothing. He's a true free person. Doesn't go to work, doesn't do anything. He eats off the land, eats fruits and vegetables that he grows, and not a worry in the world. And that is how we were meant to be living. So what you're doing is you're beginning that process, that journey of starting to live, to experience your reality. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're starting to appreciate the good, the bad, and just being grateful that you are here to experience this reality. It's a gift. That's what we've lost track of.
It's changed my life so much, this understanding that I've come to, that that we were lied to about all this stuff. And then once this whole notion that I didn't live on a spinning ball came into my head, it's really changed my world. I used to be a full-blown atheist, NASA fan. Yeah. Checking their websites every day, looking at all this space stuff. And I don't know, it's so much nicer not looking at the screen so much and just looking at nature.
Brilliant. Brilliant, brother.
Well, hi, Martin. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Josh. I actually contacted you. I'm the one that contacted you on Facebook. So I just wanted to...
Oh, hi, Josh.
Hi. It's nice to finally meet you.
Likewise. Likewise, brother.
Thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. It's an absolute pleasure listening. I've been listening for like the last, 20 minutes or so. I've been here. I've just been enthralled listening to you. I really dig it.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, and thank you for inviting me on. I've listened to a few of your shows as well, and I definitely resonate with the vibe or the energy that you guys have. So thank you for inviting me on.
Well, it's our absolute pleasure. It's been a long time coming too.
Absolutely.
I think it was even a toss-up between you and Norbz as to who we could get on first, and it just so happened we managed to get Norbz on a while ago.
Yeah. And great show, by the way. I listened to. I think you did too, didn't you?
We did do two, yeah.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed both of them.
Well, he knows you are on tonight.
Okay.
He gave me at an 80% chance 2 days ago that he would be able to at least call in for a few minutes and say hi. So my fingers are crossed. Yeah, that'd be really awesome. I'm hoping he can manage to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't spoken to him in a while, actually. We need to catch up. So this might be a good trigger for that.
It's kind of like you're setting up dates, Josh, isn't it? We're like a load of Indian aunties, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
I tell you what, it blows my mind, Martin, to hear you say that your cosmic egg model was purely intuitive. And it wasn't until you researched it and saw that it lined up with what you were researching for that confirmation. That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's something I've only been brave enough to say recently, because before I thought, how do I even tell people that? Like, how do I even, people won't take me seriously. If I open by saying, I came up with this in my head, straight away people will discredit it and say it's rubbish. So I find myself a lot of the time introducing it with the research first, and then saying to them, oh, by the way, I came up with this before the research. The research wasn't first, the research followed it. Because it's just something you can't explain to anyone unless someone's had a similar experience. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a tough situation to be in, because to be able to present it as, chronologically, intuitively, and then finding it in your research, that's a very powerful timeline. But I can see again your hesitation as to not to want to necessarily do it that way, because I'm sure you're right. There will be people that will discredit it just right off the bat because you said that it came before the research. Oh, well, he pulled this out of. Okay, sure he did. All right, we know what this guy's saying.
Exactly. Exactly that. Yeah.
But that being said, I think that's probably just par for the course. I don't think there's anything. As flat earthers, there's really nothing that we can say when we try to broach this topic with someone who's not heard it before.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can really say that's going to legitimize those two little words when they come spilling out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So and this flat earth is, I was speaking to a couple of friends a couple of weeks ago, and we're just saying, when you really think about it, right? Those of us who have woken to flat earth, we are so sure that the earth is flat, right? We know this. It's a knowing. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, right. Damn right.
But when you really break it down, the flat earth is no more or no less theoretic than the ball earth. I'll tell you why. There isn't a single photograph of the flat earth in existence. Not one. Every single one is CGI, just like the globe. Right? Is that fair?
Absolutely fair.
There isn't any video footage showing a dome or anything covering us. There isn't any footage from high altitude showing the sun and moon circling above a circular earth. There isn't a 360-degree video of the entire ice wall. So all of it is theoretic. But the difference is the flat earth, the theories that support the science that supports the theories are a lot more hardcore evidence than the ones that support the globe. I think that's the big difference. But underlying factor of it is me and you and all of us who've awoken to this now know that the earth is flat, or it's not moving, and it's a plane. We know that as a fact, but it's a knowing fact. It's not a scientific fact.
I differentiate that a little bit, I think, in that it's not. I differentiate it a little bit, not so much from the theme of what you're saying, but in terms of the flatness, we can verify photographically. What we can't verify is exactly what you described: the dome, the ice wall. We can't quantify the reality. Is the difference. Now they've tried to quantify the reality as a ball hurtling through space, spinning. But what we can't do is quantify our reality. But I do think what we can do is show that it's demonstrably flat. I think that's something that's reasonable for us to say we can now do. What we can't do is, as you allude to,
No, we can't. What we can't, no, we can't say it's flat, because we don't know that, because we've not measured the entire earth. No one has ever cartographed the entire earth. So we can't even say it's flat. We say it's measurably flat. What we're able to measure appears to be flat. What we can say as fact is that there is no curvature. Right? There is no detectable curvature. So it can't be a ball as far as we measure. And there is no motion as far as we measure. But it's still theoretic because we don't yet know factually. We've not seen it. because a fact can only be verified by observation, by something that you can observe, you can test, and you can repeat.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't negate the idea that I'm sure you've seen the map where there's a hump of water in the center.
Yep.
And I've recreated that on a little
wow.
using my Van de Graaff generator. And I've made water bend and lay while it's still. So I don't negate the idea that it is possible that electricity could be just slightly, not to where you could measure it visually, but there could be a slight something there just that we can't detect yet. So for the most part, it is flat, but it's definitely not a spinning ball. I can say that.
100%.
What shape?
100%. And I concur with that.
I don't know. It all has to do with electricity, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so there is so much more we're yet to figure out, and we mustn't get into the trap of becoming arrogant in the flat earth word, because you're now seeing a lot of flat earthers who've become so arrogant, and we proclaim, right? It's flat. There's a dome above, and we're not moving, and there's God outside, blah, 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 blah. And we repeat these words like they're facts. When in actual fact, it's all theoretic, really, when you break it down. But we must it could be anything. Let's be open-minded.
I think the longer you have to live with the reality that the Earth is flat, or the Earth is obviously and observably flat, that you can come to terms with the fact that, okay, you've got to throw off a lot of those things that you said at the beginning. Right.
Yep.
We got caught up.
We all did. Yeah. It has to evolve.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think even as we all were able to lose our ego and see some of this, which is a big part of why a lot of these scientific minds can't let go of that personality they've built on their scientific belief. Once we could let go through whatever personal, I myself had a horrible wreck, and I had a lot of time to contemplate things. Is how I kind of found flat earth too. And a lot of people don't have that. It's a struggle to let go of that personality. It's a struggle to let go of that ego that they've built up on. And even though we were able to do that and find out that maybe things that we were told are a big lie, there was still that little kind of, ooh, look what I found out thing that we couldn't let go of. It's just human. It's unavoidable. And you have to mature past that as well. So.
Well said, brother. Well said.
But that was one of the hardest things sort of coming to grips with, was the fact that really when it comes down to it, this is a philosophical debate. And all they've done is hijack one philosophy and presented it as fact. It's, well, I guess we've got no choice. We can either continue this argument and let it descend into sort of, religious zealots versus atheist zealots debating over the creator until it gets to the point where we're burning people and stoning people, drowning people. Or we can just double down, suck it up, and we'll just put everything on one or the other. And Jesuit said it's going to be a ball. That way we can control people better. And I think that's all it is. They just hijack that one philosophical point of view.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said.
That kind of perspective thing, Josh, in terms of stuff, brings us back to Martin's. I just want to bring it back to the egg, at least a little bit before we do go out. I know we're not going to last long on the egg again. We'll go off on a tangent of more important things, but with regards to that, you've built this model, Martin, and in terms of certainty of things, there's certain things, the movement of the stars and the planets. Let's not worry about terminology. Feeling the need to apologise, but
no.
But with regards to that, you've built this model, and obviously, with anything you do, there's a certain level of imagination. Which bits of it would you kind of stick certainty to, and which bits do you think is embellishment on two parts? The first from the knowledge you've gained, and the second from your own, because we all form our own belief, don't we? With the knowledge we gain, and I just wonder if you could maybe segregate that for those that think you're maybe preaching some religion in some. Do you know what I mean? This critique I've read that kind of says you're defining something more definitive, and I just wonder if you could. I'll stop rambling.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
well, when you strip it down to its core basic, none of it is factual. None of it. None of it is factual. I have no way of proving any of it at all because I've not observed it with my own eyes. So this is what I'm saying, that it is an intuitive knowing, first of all. That's the number one thing. But in that intuitive knowing and using my imagination, right, my mind, my mental, right, the library, the Akashic records, if you like, that's what the mind is. I was able to retrieve this information from the ether, if you like, from the mind. And the only way I can make it physical proof is through ancient cultures. So the ancient cultures, they corroborate the model that I've created, but it's not factual. There's no way I can say here's the hardcore evidence for any of it. I'd be lying if I did.
You
So
say,
it's an intuitive knowing.
Yeah. When you built the model, because one of the things at the conference, when you were given a good healthy amount of time, and you went into quite a fair bit of detail in terms of the sources that you drew inspiration for your model. Would you maybe just, it's not just Vedic cosmology.
Absolutely not.
That's built this.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. So one of the things when I started actually researching this, I thought to myself, well, where am I going to find the knowledge or anything that corroborates this? Is this in one book? Do the Christians know the truth? Do the Vedics know the truth? Does this ancient culture know the truth? So through studying something known as syncretism, which is something I learned from Santos, syncretism is basically an old mystery science. And it's the science of threading together various bits of information from various sources to come up with one narrative. It's almost like being a private investigator instead of being a policeman. So a crime has been committed, right? You can either just question one source of information, one witness, which should be one religion, or you question everyone in the vicinity. You question all the evidence around, all the witnesses. And then by collecting all that data, you're able to say, well, out of the 10, 7 of these witnesses said a similar thing. They all said they saw this man with a gun. Now, it can't be coincidence that 7 out of the 3 guessed correctly because they're not connected, they're not linked. The Vedics and the Christians and the Babylonians and the Sumerians and the Dogons in Africa and the Celtics. They're all in different places, different timelines, but they're all saying this one same thing. It can't be coincidence. So that is what syncretism is. And that is how I prove that this is likely to be closest to the truth. Because this is not just something I'm saying, this is something that is corroborated by many different sources from different ages and different times and different parts of the world and different races. So it can't be a coincidence. If they're all saying the earth is flat, if they're all saying that the world began in a cosmic egg, if they're all saying that this egg has got a large plane of earth with many worlds on it, if they're all saying there are different dimensions to the plane, it can't all be coincidence. If they all talk about the serpent being energy and the different serpents in our universe. So it all comes down to a matter of interpretation. So the model, I think, helped interpret what these ancient cultures were saying. Because most people, even though we were reading this, we couldn't relate it because there was nothing to relate it to, if that makes sense. So I think the model was able then to say, now I see what they meant by the snake, and the snake being energy, because that energy is obviously electromagnetism. When they have the snake around the world, that is the electromagnetic field. That's the energy that's surrounding the field, the Ouroboros. So that's how you now become a magician of words, I suppose, or a prophet, because you're now decoding terminology and mythology in a syncretic way.
Yeah, I've been looking into alchemy for a while now, 2 years. A couple years before the flat started, and I laid off a little bit, and I've been getting back into it. And it really helps when you read about these old sayings by, in the Golden Chain of Homer, or the Green Tablets of Hermes, and when they talk about different words that we use today meant totally different things back then.
Absolutely.
It's like a different language almost that you have to learn to understand what they're actually saying.
Absolutely, brother. Because what a lot of people don't know is a lot of these things, like the snake, if you translate it into Sanskrit, it has a different connotation to it. So when these mythologies were translated into English, they're not the exact real terminology. If that makes sense? It's like translating French. If anyone's a French speaker, when you translate French into English, direct translation, sometimes the words don't make sense in English, but they do make sense in French because of the nuances and the different pronunciations and so forth. So it's the same thing with ancient mythology. When they say the world was on a turtle, they didn't actually say the world was on a turtle, but we've interpreted water as turtle in English. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So the original Sanskrit word wasn't turtle. It translated into English as turtle. So this is why we think they were stupid and they were dumb, and they were saying things. Oh, they thought water was turtle, or they thought energy was snakes. No. We're the dumb ones because we've misinterpreted the original, true, resonant sound of that word, the true language of that word.
Sometimes I think, Martin, as well, you get you mentioned energy and that and the snake, and sometimes I think it's probably a poor interpretation of a much more sophisticated alphabet system, for want of a better word.
Oh, brilliant.
A bit like
That's what I was
the
trying to say,
Chinese
yeah.
language. You could use that snake, and it wouldn't mean snake. It would mean adding of energy.
Brilliant.
Because of its understanding in a developed language.
Absolutely, brother. You've described it a lot better than I did. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Absolutely.
I can relate to what you were saying about the French thing. Being my first time down here in southern Louisiana, it is very French. All the names of the cities, all the names of the street names, and I was trying to tell Walt where I was, and I was just mutilating some of these. He had no idea what I was talking about until I spelled it out to him. He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we don't call it." You were way off on what you were saying.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, some of the spellings here. I won't even get into all of it. It's beyond, yeah, it's crazy. It took me years to understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, the difficult spells, those are, we'll call them. It's difficult to cast a spell in a language you're not familiar with. It's amazing how deep those words are when you really break it down. But anyway, I digress.
I forgot where we got to be fair. Josh, you can normally help here. I remember where I was asking up to anyway, in terms of maybe we could just ask you just for a brief description of the egg, in terms of, just so that there's a little understanding in terms of, because what I want to get into is maybe some of the spiritual side of how that engages with the cosmology you're describing. So
okay, well, in essence, our universe is inside something called an electromagnetic torus field. which is what the ancient cultures called the cosmic egg, which is where the concept of egg comes from. So everything was birthed out of this toroidal field, which is electromagnetic. And the first thing that was birthed was the first element, which is ether or air. And from there, we've got the earth and we've got the heavens, the skies, the heavens above and the earth below. So that would make the universe divided into three. You've got the heavens, you've got the middle section, which is the earthly plane, and you've got the waters below in the egg, if you like. And then the earth itself is divided into 5 concentric realms, if you like, beginning from the center. Just like a tree. You know, when you look at a tree that's cut diagonally, you see the different rings. Just like a beetroot or an onion, when you cut it, you see the different rings. Just like a drop of water. So everything is a microcosm of the macrocosm, right? So the shape, this is what you call natural science. The shape of the earth is reflected by the natural world around us. But anyway, I won't get sidetracked. So you've got the 5 rings beginning at the center. The center would be what you call Mount Meru or Mount Zion or Mount Olympus. You know, many cultures call it different things. The tree of life. This is the 0-point axis. This is where life always begins from, right? This is the black hole or the wormhole, if you like, if you're scientific. And on this mountain or in this realm, this dimension, this 5th dimension at the center, is a race of beings called the Polarians, what the Abrahamic religions call angels, or what they call Pleiadians in modern esoteric terms. Same thing. Das avatars in Vedic scriptures. So this is a race of beings. This is the master race. This is a semi-ethereal beings. And many ancient cultures said they were indigo bluish, translucent indigo bluish beings. So you always see this depiction of blue beings in a lot of our cultural movies or books or cartoons or stories. But anyway, so this is where all human consciousness begins at. We all began as Polarians at the center. And the first realm that is currently around this polar axis is what we call the current Garden of Eden. This is a 4-island crater continent, the congealed drop, as the Japanese called it. So this is sometimes called Avalon, Shambhala, Hyperborea, the Garden of Eden, the Valley of the Gods. So you're all these names, Hollow Earth, Inner Earth. This is it. This is this realm at the center of the earth, this 4-island. There are many maps showing it as well, especially from the 17th century at the North Pole. And in this realm, there's a race of beings called the Aryans, the Aryan beings. So they are the newest seeded race out of the Polarian, which is something else I'll explain later. The next realm will be our realm, separated by an electromagnetic field. So the electromagnetic field above the Aryan Garden of Eden at the center right now is what we call the Aurora Borealis. So those northern lights, they are electromagnetism, and science tells us that. So we've got our realm, and this realm is known as Atlantis. So we are all Atlanteans in this realm. That's the root race of the beings in this realm. So we were seeded just before the Aryans at the center. The realm on the outside, from where we are, beyond our South Polar realm, beyond the Aurora Australis electromagnetic field, is the Lemurian realm. This is where the Lemurian root race is. So if you've heard of a race of beings that were called the Lemurians, sometimes called reptilians, this is what's computed with reptilians. These are the beings that live on that side of the fence, if you like. And then on the 4th ring, the last ring, or the 5th one, if you like, is a race of beings called the Hyperboreans, right? And sometimes they're called the Anunnaki. So these Anunnakis are the Hyperborean root race of the 4th realm. And of course, each of these realms has got its own solar and ecosystem, its own sun and moon. So at the center, Mercury is an androgynous, it's both a sun and moon. That controls the ecosystem of the Aryan realm at the center. Ours, of course, is our sun and moon, Apollo and Artemis. The realm outside is Mars and Venus. They are the sun and moon of that realm. And then the Anunnaki or Hyperborean one is Saturn and Jupiter. So basically, all these realms are created over what's known as epochs. So every 24,000 years, we have an epoch and what we might call a pole shift, and a new realm and root race is seeded, unfolding from the center. So the first root race to be created would have been the ring right on the outside. That would have been the first ring. The Hyperboreans, the Anunnaki, were the first root race to be seeded. And then, of course, the Lemurians, and then us, and then recently the Aryans at the center. Now, I'm willing to bet, this is something I'm presenting at the moment, that if we met a Hyperborean, an Anunnaki being, the root race, on the outer Saturnian realm, I think we would see the correlation between them and black people. We'll see, I see where black people get their features from. Right? There's a similarity between these Hyperboreans, these Anunnakis, and black people. So the black people of this realm, their traits and their cultural habits and some of their physical traits were seeded through various DNA interactions in the past with these Hyperboreans. Likewise, if you met the Lemurians in the next realm, in the Mars-Venus realm, the reptilians, I'm willing to bet would say, I see where the Oriental Asians get their features from. Right? That's the subroot race in this realm that's got their lineage from the Lemurians. And then the Indo-Asians, the Vedics, are the original Atlantean sub or root race of this realm. This is why the Vedic scriptures are probably the most, I've got the most amount of knowledge or information, because that is the original root race of this realm. And then I'm willing to bet if we went to the center, to the Aryan realm, and we met the Aryans in the current Garden of Eden, would say, I see where white people get their features from. I see where the root lineage is from. And these Aryans are sometimes referred to as the gods, or fallen angels, or Nephilim, or, all these different words in ancient cultures. This is where it all comes from. So that is basically the cosmic egg in a nutshell.
That leads me to a question.
That was amazing.
That was a great brief summary, mate, of that. If I can ask this question, that leads to a question, I suppose, with regards to Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden, and with all of this lineage that you're talking about there, which race emergence would you suggest that bit of scripture relates to? Does it relate to any one of the particular races' emergence in your explanation there, or?
It relates to all the different root races. So at one stage, all the different realms were once at the center. They were once a Garden of Eden during their epoch.
So it's the how would I describe it? The fable of the one. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. It's all the root. It's the story of all creation in all the different realms, but in different timelines. However, some of the literal nuances in the Bible, particularly in the Abrahamic faiths. So perhaps if there are literal names of people, if there was an Abraham, if there was a Sarah, if there was these people in the Bible, this particular lineage of the Abrahamic faiths would be in reference to the Aryans. Because again, according to the cosmic clock, the Aryan current Garden of Eden was created 6,000 years ago. The Christian Bible and the Judaic Bible all began about 6,000 years ago. They're 6,000 years old as well. So there's a synchronicity there. We also told in mainstream science that 6,000 years ago is when we evolved, in quotation marks, into real human beings. So it's all linking to something happening 6,000 years ago. So when I release my cosmic clock, and I think you've seen it if you're at the
Yeah,
conference,
and it's impressive, everyone. It's not. You could see the work that was in that, and the way it was linked, and the way it rotates, and the knock-on connotations for the dynamics within the realms you're describing. I thought was fascinating. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the implications, because it is probability time, and the way things are twisting. I thought it was. I'm not sure where that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you, where that piece of detail was drawn from in terms of how the cosmic clock is affecting the three different realms and how their rotation affects, the current bronze, silver, gold age, how their relative effects have a knock on in terms of one realm to the next. The bit that struck me probably as a lead in on that, Martin, was when you talked about some of the evil that's occurring in this world is the next realm that's currently in their gold age, and they're about to drop into the Maya as we progress.
Yeah, that's a great question. The clock was a little bit different with the cosmic egg because the clock I did put together research first. So once I came across the cosmic egg, and once I had sort of felt I had reached a point where I understood the construct, at least from the cosmic egg perspective of our universe, the next natural question was, well, why is this happening? Like, why, if this is the case, why do we not know about these other realms? Why aren't we in contact with them? Why don't we know about them? Like, how does this work? How does all of this work? What is the point of it? So then I realized that every single culture had a clock or a calendar, a cosmic clock or a cosmic calendar, the Dendera stone, the Dharma wheel, the Mayan calendar, the Uja. There's so many of these clocks and calendars, all these cultures. So I thought, well, these ancient people obviously knew a lot more than we know today. I've now discerned that they knew that the earth was flat or motionless. They knew that we were inside something, a cocoon, which is the electromagnetic field. They talked about these other worlds. So if they have clocks and calendars that are appearing to show cosmic timelines, it's likely that there is some truth in that as well, if we look at it syncretically. So I collected as many as I could, and then I started researching the different ages from different, the Vedics. What did they say about the Yuga ages, the Zodiac ages, the ages of man according to the Celtics and the Greeks, the Egyptian ages, all the different ages. And I started trying to slot them in to the different ancient calendars, right? The timelines into the physical calendars. And as I started doing that, the clock started morphing with the information, if that makes sense. So the two started coming together until it made sense, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Sorry?
I said, I'm not sure it does. I'm trying to wrap my brain around that.
So
I think we all are.
in essence, I took the information because a lot of cultures talk about how everything is cyclical. Everything has got a time and a season. So right from the microcosm, from the day, you've got 4 parts of the day. You've got the 4 lunar phases, which create our months. We've got the 4 yearly seasons, winter, summer, autumn, winter. That never stops. Those seasons get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So then you've got a 2,000-year season, which is the zodiac. Then you've got a 3,000-year season, which is the small Yuga age. And then we've got a 6,000-year, which is a Platonic year. Then we've got a 24,000-year cycle, which is the epoch. So there are clocks within clocks within clocks within clocks of time. Time is not linear, it is cyclical. This is where words like there's nothing new under the sun. What has happened before will happen again, because everything is cyclical. So once I understood that concept, I was able to slot the information of the dates and the timelines of the different cultures into a physical representation of where we are now and where we've come from, into a model.
Have you ever checked out Walter Lewin? Oh wait,
Sorry,
somebody
who?
had a question. Somebody else had a question here. I was asking.
Yeah, our friend Carolyn Gutman Day. Speaking of stitching together the plane earlier in the show, I actually got to meet her out in Oregon a few years ago at an early meetup there. But Carolyn had a question. I copied it. So, oh, you found it. Thank you. She wondered if you had looked at the work of Prashant Trivedi. I probably am horribly mangling that name. Apparently a Vedic scholar who's flat Earth. I've just
Okay.
to the channel. I haven't checked him out myself personally, but have you looked at his work?
I think I'm familiar. He's in the UK at the moment, isn't he?
It seemed like some of the videos really recently were, some speeches he may have given, some conferences and stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I won't say definite yes, but it sounds very familiar.
And then
Sounds very
what about?
familiar. Maybe send me a link or something.
I'll send it to you here in the chat real quick. But you had a question back about somebody?
No.
Walter,
Walter Lewin. Walter Lewin, former physics professor at MIT. He has all his classes here on YouTube. And just the first 3 or 4 in the Electro 802 about electricity, I think if you watch those, it would help you with your understanding of how electricity works. It opened my mind to so many new ideas and thoughts and just possibilities. I try to have I tell everybody about the guy because he's a great teacher. I mean, even though I don't think he's actually teaching the truth at all times. He even says in one of the videos that I wouldn't lie to you, not about this. So what that tells me is he is lying about something.
That's bizarre. Yeah. At least he's honest about it, I guess.
I've done a lot of the experiments that he does there on his class, and it works the way he says it does. Electricity, once you understand just how electricity works in nature, it just opens up so many more. So I was just hoping, if you haven't checked them out, just the first couple videos are like, I've watched them each like 10 times probably, because it's a lot of gibbly-gobbly math, but once you get through the math and he starts drawing diagrams, model type things on the board, it's amazing. It really is. It opened my eyes a lot. I try to share it with everybody.
All right. What's his name again? Sorry.
Sorry, I had a problem with the mute there. Walter Lewin, Lewin.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you can just send me the link, I'll definitely have a look.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
So, Martin, if Carolyn Gutman Day wanted to send you a bunch of links, or if somebody wanted to get a hold of you or to find out more information about you and your work, where might they best be able to do that?
Well, I post most of my work on my YouTube channel, Flat Earth Universe. And I've got a Facebook page as well, just under my name, Martin Kenny. So normally if people want to send me links or share something, just find me on Messenger under Martin Kenny or on Facebook, and just ping me a line or two or a link or whatever. I won't always be able to reply because obviously I get loads of, questions and texts and stuff, so I can't reply to everything. But I'll always endeavor to always look at whatever links I'm sent because I always want to learn new stuff.
That sounds like a good problem to have. So many people trying to contact you with questions and comments that you just can't keep up with it all.
Yeah, no, it's a burden actually, because I feel guilty when I don't reply, because I wanna engage with everyone. I wanna share with everyone and learn from everyone, but I just can't keep up with it, and I feel guilty, and I feel like, if I was asking a question, or when I send questions to people and they don't reply, I get a bit like, oh, I wish you would reply. So I always feel obliged. And sometimes my wife has to stop me and say, take my phone away and say, just ignore it all. Because it just takes up my time. So it's a burden, but it's also a blessing, I suppose.
We really need to.
What was that, Zach?
Sorry about that. I really think sometimes that we really need to just take a step back and stop researching, stop experimenting, and just let a lot of that information that your subconscious has downloaded, but it hasn't fully uploaded to your consciousness.
Mm.
You need to be able to let it fester almost for a little bit. Fester's not a great word to use.
Marinate. There you go.
Yeah. Let all the information
Absolutely.
Because if you keep learning and keep on pushing your brain, some of those things might slip through the cracks.
Absolutely.
Well, that's how
Absolutely. Everything in moderation and in balance. That's grounding yourself. Because you're right. You can get lost in it, and this is what you call going mad. When people go mad, they get lost in too much information, not enough grounding.
Yeah, at first, when I first learned about flat Earth, that really was my problem.
I think we all had that problem early on, just trying to find a place to land.
I was trying to study this moon at the same time, and that wasn't working. I was getting no sleep at all.
Oh yeah, the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, I've learned to just step back and relax a little bit. It's not going to happen overnight. No matter how much you learn, it's not going to make everybody else aware of anything any sooner.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest lesson that I've learned. And this is the only time I got peace, when I finally realized that there is a season and a reason, a time and place for everything in the universe. Nothing's out of place. There are no mistakes. There isn't, everything is happening exactly as it should, when it should. And there's nothing I can do to stop it or to change it, because it's the will of the universe. I am part of the universe. I'm part of it. And so is everyone else. So once I understood that concept, it gave me so much freedom to know that we're not in a trap. We're not being controlled. Things aren't as dark and gloomy as we might think. Things are perfectly aligned and going exactly as they should be. It's like clockwork.
Did I, sorry, just to be anal.
I was about to be anal.
Did I just catch a semantic change there, Mark, from under to inner? Stood.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Understanding something is trying to have a grasp of something without a knowing. It's a belief. You're putting yourself under that. So that's another, when you understand something, it's an inner knowing. You just know. You just know. You can't explain it scientifically. You can't explain it in physical words. You understand it. You just know it. I just know it. We just know we're not on a ball, right? We've never seen it, but we know it. We understand it. It's an inner knowing.
Sorry to be an arse there. I just heard it and felt it. It is an important difference, I think.
Absolutely. It really is.
Have you ever had the notion that the luminaries aren't maybe moving so much, but it's the electromagnetic toroid that makes them appear to move?
Oh.
I don't know how to explain it. I have this idea in my head that the sun doesn't really have to move. That the ether above, the shape that it takes, and it may move a little. You know how Polaris is at 89.15 and 55 seconds, or something like that. Something that's off a little bit. So it does rotate a little bit. I was just thinking if that was our sun, polarity. And it just moved a little bit, and then the ether and the heat underneath it kind of shaping it. I've done some experimentation with Fresnel lenses, and I could kind of mimic the way the sun was hitting the earth almost. It just made me think maybe the sun didn't have to move. I didn't have to move the sun at all. I just did it all with the lenses. I just wonder if that thought had ever crossed your path yet.
No, it's definitely a new line of thought completely. It's the first time I've heard that concept, but yeah, it's intriguing. It's intriguing. I think there's definitely some truth in everything, and yeah, I'm intrigued by that idea.
Zach, while you're on that subject, I've been doing a bit of brainstorming on that, and you're talking about the magnetic effect there in terms of the field rotation, and that's what I was wondering, whether that had something to do with the lunar wave phenomenon. Do you know what I mean? I just want, because there's something that, you know, from Crow first showing it, that it baffles you, and obviously you revert to it's just a wave in the water in the heavens, but I'm not happy with that, if I'm being honest. And it was this electromagnetic effect, and its effect that it can have on light, that I'd kind of postulated the same thing, that this can have an effect in terms of viewing, hence the ripple.
That makes sense. That certainly makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I won't pretend to be an expert on the scientific details of a lot of this. You know, my field of expertise, if you like, is I like to see the foundation, I suppose. So painting the picture, I like to see the big picture, but I'm not that intelligent with the details. Right, so I think we all have different gifts and we all have different callings. And, you know, I won't pretend to understand or be interested in knowing the exact details of how everything's fine-tuned. So I sort of leave it to other people like yourself, who will probably have a better understanding or understanding of electromagnetism, to figure out the actual nitty-gritties of what's moving where and how it's moving. But yeah, I'm always open and fascinated by all the different ideas and possibilities of the details of what the sun is doing, what the moon is doing, how the electromagnetism is working, the physical physics, the phi or the physics of this reality.
The one thing you do know, mate, is whenever you look into it, it's not what you're told. It's
Absolutely.
the one thing I'm learning.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so the technical questions, the deep technical questions about what exactly is the sun, how does it work? Yeah, those are, you know, they're not things I'm able to chomp down and break down in detail.
No, I think that,
like when Norbz did the Cosmic Egg, he added those things to it. You know, he added the music and the frequency and how that's related to the sound. So he put a bit more meat to the bones. So I had the skeleton, and now I'm seeing a lot of people are now putting the meat and the flesh and the veins and the blood, you know, to create, to give it body, to give the theory body.
Yeah, I like that way you put that.
Yeah.
Well said.
I hope that answered your question indirectly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. All I have is ideas, just like you.
Yeah, share them, brother.
We can't prove any of it yet, you know, because we can't go up there and actually touch these things. But when you have these ideas, I think it's good to just share them with other people that, you know, thinking about it at least. I don't go tell every person I meet on the street about it, you know, but other people that are interested in the same things and are looking for just ideas on how it might work. But understand that there is no really knowing these things.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least. Not with these bodies, I don't think.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
But,
I agree.
I think we might get a better view. I'm hoping.
I agree, brother.
But that's what's so great about that cosmic egg that you've presented, Martin, is that it really does inspire imagination, curiosity, and just helps sort of show the possibilities of what's really out there. Once you can put big red X stamped across the globe and say, all right, well, that's done.
Yeah.
So now where can we go? And people are going to turn around and find themselves staring right smack dab at your cosmic egg. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because another thing that I was tired of doing is whenever I spoke to people about flat Earth and I said it's flat, and they said so, and they'd always ask me, so how do you explain the universe then? And before the cosmic egg, I couldn't. I said I can't explain anything. I don't know. They'd say, well, what about the planets, and what about the Milky Way, and what about this? And I'd say, I don't know. What about all the aliens and ancient stories about extraterrestrials? And I'd go, I don't know. I just know it's flat and there's a dome. And at that point, the other person just can't take you seriously. They just go, well, at least my theory, I can explain the stars. At least in my globe theory, I can explain aliens. You can't even explain that. That was another driving force for me to say, well, actually, I need to at least find a model. Even if it's wrong, at least something I can present and say, well, this is a possibility. And this makes more sense than your model. At least. So even if you don't believe me, at least let's look at it from a sensible point of view. What makes more sense, this or this? So again, that is something that I was really keen to solve. I suppose that's what really spurred me on to want to know a bit more about a geocentric universe and where we are and how all these other things fit in. All these stories of extraterrestrials and these mythologies of gods. Where did these gods come from? If it's flat, what is that? What are the planets? Time travel and dimensions, all these things, where do they come from? They must come from somewhere. It can't just all have been made up. So yeah, I think that you're right in saying that at least the cosmic egg and a couple of other models as well. There's the computer simulation one that answers a lot of questions. So I think it's good to always share ideas and models, and then we can always build on them and change if we need to change with new information and new knowledge.
And I look forward to the day when we can start building a working model from the ground up based on where it is we live. I think that would be amazing.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And I think we're doing that already without knowing it individually. So there are some people who are studying electromagnetism, and they might not even be flat earthers, right? The Thunderbolts project. Mm-hmm. So they're studying electromagnetism, but I'm guaranteed when someone connects what they're doing, maybe with a model that's close to the truth, if it's the cosmic egg, and they apply that science to that particular model, who knows, we might see the pieces coming together better now. Right? Your theory about the sun not moving, if you push that and you find some sort of science that explains a lot of the anomalies, and then one day you put it to a model and it will slot in perfectly, and wow, this must be close to the truth because this is syncretizing with this, even though it wasn't related initially. And that's how we get to truth.
Yeah, there's something about Zach's idea of that sun sitting up there and just being cast in a parent position, and that's what we're seeing move. There's something that really rings true to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, someone on Twitter that I do a lot of interaction with, We Are Waking Up, they're here in our chat quite often. They're taking a little break right now from social media, but he put up a video where he took a little dome magnifying glass like I've been playing around with myself and was just showing over a little drawing of the flat earth map with a light, playing with that. And if you just think about that and amplify it up to that electromagnetic toroidal field, I mean, yeah, Zach, I think you're definitely onto something here, man, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, perception is everything. And I mean, Walter Russell talked about something very similar. Said that, it's not actually the bodies, the physical bodies of the universe that move, but the energies of the universe. So I think this is where concept like the earth is square comes from. So people like Walter Russell figured out that there is a metrocube or a decacube, of energy, a square. We live inside a square. This is the matrix, the one and the L, if you like. So this energy is what's projecting our reality. So you might be right in saying that this is where we get the quantum computing theorem. Is it quantum computer theorem of where we are? This is where that concept comes from. So it's all sort of tying in with what you're saying. I think you're on the right line. It's just a matter of putting it in the right context, in the right place, and the right understanding.
Yeah, and I'm very open to change it as well. It's just an idea, and I just like sharing it with, like-minded people like yourself that are just curious and looking for the answers. They're looking for possibilities. I don't know if, like we said, I don't know if the answers can be known, but just we have these minds for a reason, and I don't think it's to do, our taxes and to do things like that. We have these amazing. I think we can do a lot more with our minds too than we're led to believe. Like we were talking earlier about intent and things like that. Once I learned about that kind of stuff, it really changed how I treated everything. And I'm still working on it a lot. It's an everyday thing about trying to be conscious of the fact that everything around you is conscious.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's interesting because someone once said that our minds, new information. It's impossible for new information to be created. Right? It's impossible. There's no such thing as new energy. Energy is forever. It's constant. Right? So information is a form of energy. So whatever our minds can conceive, whatever words that exist in reality, whatever thoughts that exist, come from the foundation of a certain core truth. Everything. The fact that you can even imagine it means that that imagined thing stemmed from something factual, or something possible, from something that does exist or has existed at some point in existence. And I wholly buy into that there's no way we can just make things up in our heads unless they have an original and a point of origin.
Do you remember the first time you were told that we lived on a spinning ball? Did you believe it?
Personally, I can't say I thought about it. I can't say it's something that I thought about, but what I did think about from a young age was that I just had a feeling that something wasn't right. But I didn't associate the spinning ball with it. So I would say I bought into the spinning ball. So I believe that it's probably a ball, but there's something else they're not telling us about.
Yeah, when I saw the globe for the first time, I was young, and I asked my mom about what it was, and she told me that we lived on it. Everything in my body, I just started laughing.
Really?
Yeah, I did not believe it at all.
How old were you?
Maybe 4 or 5. I know I was living in my house in Hobart, Indiana, and I know I was young. I was real young because my little sister was still in a stroller. And Yeah, I remember asking her because I saw the globe, and she was like, "Yeah, we live right here." And I was like, What are you talking about? We live right here. She's like, "Well, this is what we live on.
Wow.
This is what Earth is." And I just remember getting the idea. No way. No, if it's spinning, we would go flying off.
Yeah. Yeah, children, I think we're just born with the knowing, an intuitive knowing, aren't they, children? That's why they have to get the kids young, I suppose.
Oh yeah, that's why they require them to start school at such a young age, and they're
Yeah.
even making some kindergarten is a full day now, whereas it used to
Yeah,
be a half day. They're starting to get them young and 8 hours a day.
absolutely.
And then mom and dad, most of them have to both work to make ends
Yep,
meet or this and that, and they come home and they don't have time to teach their children, about everything. And yeah, they've they've got us where they want us for the most part.
yeah,
They can get to the
very true.
children very young.
Very true, brother.
And I've always wanted kids. It's
And look at what that sort of early indoctrination produces. If you can catch them while their brain is still, malleable and concrete, that false idea in there, you'll get people defending the globe as staunchly as flat earthers destroy it, despite
Mm,
the evidence obvious right in front of them. I mean, they will wear the blinders for as long as possible because that's what it's designed to do. That's why you have to get them young, because you have to concrete it in those false ideas, that false reality.
absolutely, absolutely. But the most beautiful thing about all that is that it's all meant to be that way at this particular point in time, right? So there's no one to really be angry with. There's no one to blame. It's no one's fault in particular, because that's something we've also been brainwashed to think that there has to be someone we blame. We must always give responsibility to someone else, right? It's a brainwashing.
Yeah, as I've grown up, I've come to find a lot of people are people that they are because that's how they grew up. They were
Mm,
when you're very young and you see things done a certain way, that's how you think that things are,
yep.
and that kind of stays with you your whole life. That's why like, most of these pedophiles and stuff like that, as much as it makes me mad what they do.
Mm,
I still feel sorry for them because this
yep.
probably happened to them at a young age.
Yep.
I don't think it's something that you get later on in life. I think it's something that you just come to find as being normal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is the secret to conquering this universe. It's that deep understanding of this reality. If you're still in those, a lot of people are still stuck. They're still like children. They still angry. They're still disappointed. They're still looking for someone to blame. You become a god. You've reached, uh, not become a god, but you've awakened the god within you when you're able to fully understand that everything is as it should be, and you have a deeper understanding of why it is. Even if you don't know the details of it, you're at peace with it. And all you can do is change the things that you can change, right? That's the wisdom. The things I can change, the things I can't change.
Yeah,
I will change the things I can't, but I need to be strong enough to accept the things I can't.
yeah, that's like you said. That's wisdom right there. That's hard to. That's not something you learn. That's something
Mm,
that you gain almost.
absolutely.
Repetition helps too. 12-step program.
Mm.
At least that's from
Yeah,
personal experience.
Martin, you, you,
yeah,
you, you
yeah.
talk about evil
But that
behavior.
little serenity prayer that they say, it is a powerful tool. If only to focus to get you through to your next good time. But if you can focus on the words and start to learn to apply them in your life, then your whole world changes.
Yeah, and that's the understanding, applying what you're saying. That means you now understand what you're saying. So a lot of us, we say stuff, but we don't have an understanding of what we're saying. That serenity prayer. Once you understand it, then you are now applying it because you get it. You really get what you're saying. You're not just saying it as words.
Martin, can I just bring you back to what you guys were saying? Just a second. Oh, my bloody brain's gone. I had a brain fart. Excuse me a second, guys.
That's all right.
It's not going to come back soon, Josh.
I wish I could help. I don't know. Serenity.
No, let's move on. Move on, and then it won't.
Go. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can.
Okay, you see, it's worked. It's worked already. It's worked. Our men worked already. You were talking about evil behaviour and having an acceptance of it, and I wondered if you would elaborate on that in terms of the cosmology as well. I think that was an interesting concept. It seems a little bit like when you read the Law of One stuff in terms of giving an understanding towards evil action. I'll stop there and leave it with you, Martin. But
Yeah, in a nutshell, I'll just break it down to its core basics. We talked about the different seasons, the 4 different seasons of the day, the month, the year, blah, 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 blah. We also have 4 different conscious seasons in general. And these are known as the 4 ages, commonly. So you've got the Golden Age, you've got the Silver Age, you've got the Bronze Age, and you've got the Iron Age. Now, these are not ages like we're taught at school, like physical ages of physical evolution. These are ages of conscious evolution. So we consciously evolve, not physically from monkey to human. That's nonsense. But consciously, our intelligence, our DNA activation, it activates and deactivates over time. So what we've been in this particular realm, right, over the last 6,000 years, we've been in what's known as the Iron Age, right? And this Iron Age is like the winter, if you like, of a cosmic timeline. We're in the winter, we're midnight, we're in the dark, right? This is the lowest our consciousness has been. So we've all lived, we've all been the devil. Backwards, lived, backwards is the devil, right? Because we've all been in the dark. Now, at the moment, what's happening is we're having an awakening, what people are calling an awakening, a conscious shift. Our DNA is electromagnetically being activated. We're becoming smarter. We're waking up. We're realizing who we are, where we are. We're questioning our reality. This is what is this awakening. And all this is just a shift of electromagnetic energy that is regulated by the stars above, the constellations, the sun, the moon, all the luminaries. These are energy bodies, these that help the clock of time of our consciousness shift from one age or one gear into another. So in the old age, this old Iron Age we're in, we were behaving like Iron Age beings, right? We were, if you like, we were babies. We're still in the baby stage of evolution consciously. But now, since 2012, we've started shifting into the Bronze Age, right? We're now becoming toddlers and not babies anymore. So we're waking up. A little bit of our DNA has been activated electromagnetically by God or source, whatever you want to call that energy. So we'll go through that for 6,000 years in this realm, and then the switch will be turned up again. We'll then go up another level of consciousness. We'll get a little bit more intelligent. We're now getting into the Silver Age. More DNA is activated. We wake up even more to even bigger truths and realizations of our reality. And then that happens for 6,000 years, and the clock turns again. Then we're in the golden age. This is when we are at maximum potential, human potential, the best that we can be, all DNA activated. We are connected with source, with spirit, mind, body, spirit, everything. So we all go through these ages collectively in the universe, all the different root races in the different realms. Simultaneously, every realm is going through its own age, its own cycle, its own season. This is why some races are more advanced than other races at any particular time. This is why some races were gods in some realms at particular times. So all this is interchanging. It always changes and flips and changes. And at certain times along that cosmic cycle, the torus fields open up. There's a balancing of energy. The different beings interact. They change energy, information. Some colonize or enslave others. Some are good. Some are, depending on where that particular realm or root race is along that timeline. I hope I didn't lose anyone.
No, we're sorry. I know I'm
No,
here.
not at all. That's awesome. Man, you've got me deep, right? For sure. I mean, the things that you've talked about today, Martin, have kind of been just, these are the things we've all been brewing and dwelling on. Most of us have had a path of digging and searching, and myself, I've examined all different philosophies, and tasted a bit of this, a bit of that, and finding that you are able to put it so eloquently as I'm fumbling for words here. Yeah, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all this with us.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
These ideas are just, like I said, these are the springings from which I think all this future ideas are going to spring forth. The ideas are going to grow from here, and I think this is going to be the beginning. This is where they're going to remember back to how it all began. So, yeah,
Absolutely,
this is awesome stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And that is the most amazing thing, that most of us don't realize, that we are at the beginning of something monumental. If you think back to biblical times, right? We all think that the time, if you believed in the Bible literally, that time when Jesus was alive would have been a special time to be alive, right? If the Bible was literal. This time we're living in now is bigger than that. What is happening now, this event, this awakening, this conscious shift that is happening now, happens only once every 6,000 years. It is so special. And we, those of us that are awake, are the early birds. We are the ones who are leading this conscious shift. And people are going to look back at this and go, my goodness, what a time it must have been to be alive, to witness and be part of that shift. It is so humongous. We have no idea. And it's going to get bigger and bigger. We haven't seen anything yet. I promise you that in the next couple of years, we're going to see things, and we're going to be experiencing things and be part of things that our minds cannot even imagine right now. We'll remember this conversation.
Now I'd like to go a little different route for a second. What do you think the powers that be are going to try to do to stop us from seeing all this happen? If you haven't heard,
yeah, that's a fantastic question. That's a really, really great question. It's one of my favorite questions. I think a lot of what they've been doing, this pre-programming, predictive programming they've been doing for the last 100 years particularly, was the brainwashing, the chemtrails, TV, the education system, science, all that has been amped up, super amped up over the last 100 years, at least since World War II. So it seems like the powers that be knew that this was coming, this awakening, this conscious shift. They know about astrology, obviously. They're not idiots. So they've been trying their best to suppress this conscious awakening so that they can keep hold of power. And I think a lot of these beings are working for or with some of the extraterrestrial root races, the not so good ones, that are in realms that have been secretly controlling us, the hidden hand.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what we call the hidden hand, behind the veil, the shadow government. So these are extraterrestrials in other realms that are maybe in an old epoch golden age, or in a different in a higher conscious evolutionary age to us, but they weren't able to physically come into our realm, but they can through internet or through technology or whatever other means. So I think this is what's been happening. And these shadow governments, or these outside forces, if you like, have been using our governments and maybe swapping technology or wealth or money, whatever it is. But that is coming to an end. That is now falling apart, because when the wheels of time change in the universe, nothing can stop it. But going back to your original question, I think things like chemtrails, for sure. I don't think chemtrails are actually killing us, personally. I don't think they're poisoning us. I think it's predictive programming. And what they're doing is they're getting us used, especially in developed parts of the world, to not seeing the sky. Getting us used to seeing chemtrails, black skies, gray skies, and not seeing the sky for what it is. So if my research is correct, in 2020, on the 20th of the 12th, 2020, the electromagnetic fields of our universe are going to open up, the Van Allen belts. Right? The dome is going to open up, literally, during this galactic alignment. And this is what many cultures say when they say, if you read a lot of cultural scriptures, they say there are times in our universe when the sky falls. Right? I think this is what they meant. But the sky falling.
The sky rolls
fall
back, literally, or I've heard it described, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So lots of cultures speak about this. The sky falling, the stars falling, the sun falling. So if you imagine the electromagnetic fields all opening up, all four of them in the universe, imagine seeing the stars and the suns for what they really are. Because at the moment, we're seeing them through all these different barriers. So I think what they want to do during the 7 days while that happens is put chemtrails all over the world so that we don't see the actual main event, the actual true cosmological event, the natural event. So we miss that event. And when the electromagnetic torus fields close up again, the chemtrails will die away, and then they'll show us their fake alien invasion, their fake alien ships, and do a fake event to create a new world order. This is my theory. This is Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, have you heard, just as of yesterday, 6 of the major solar observatories have been shut down, and one here in New Mexico was raided by FBI.
With no explanation, nothing.
Really?
The local police are baffled. They have no clue. We were talking about it on the show this morning. The sheriff is actually angry because, there's no information. They won't tell them why they've not just shut them down, they evacuated them. And
what?
Their cameras are offline. Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. They're preparing now because obviously they don't want people to see or witness this return of Christ, if you like. If you want to talk esoterically, this galactic alignment. They don't want people to see it or feel it or be a part of it. They want to keep us ignorant, and then we miss it, and then they create their own fake event to bring in a one world government, one world order, blah, 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 blah. You know the story.
All too well, unfortunately.
Yeah. So all of this has been in the works. All of this lying to us about where we are is to hide this event. It all comes back to this event. All of it comes back to this. And this is what all ancient cultures, they worked up to this. This is why they always looked up in the skies. When you look at all the movies of native Indians or Africans, they were always looking in the skies. The Bible is always telling us to look up in the skies for the signs, right? Look in the signs for the times. Look at the stars, right? This is astrology, It's the clock of time. And once you understand astrology, you are literally able to predict the future. You are literally able to predict the future, basically, and prepare for it and do certain things that will allow you to take full advantage of that energy frequency during that time, which is a whole nother story.
Right. Just
I hope that
mind-blowing
made
stuff.
sense.
Absolutely, man. I'm smiling.
And this
up
is
here.
why
I can-
Trump has created a space force.
Space farce, yes.
Yeah, so people are laughing in the flat earth. We're all going, "Oh, you idiot, space doesn't exist. Trump is such an idiot. These elites are stupid. They're just making things up." No, they're not. They know what's about to happen. They know the Taurus field's about to open. And just like Trump says, it's time for us to go to space and conquer space, right? Militarily and for other reasons. Direct quote. So they're telling us that it's time. Something's about to happen where we now can go to space. NASA says we can't get past the Van Allen belts, but very soon we will. They're telling us.
Zach just said off mic that space is coming to us. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely. I love that. I'm going to have to steal that. Space is coming to us. We're not going to space. Beautiful.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's all yours.
Yeah. So the great news, this is the good news for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. When this event happens, when this Taurus field happens, the most fantastic thing is that any being in the universe can cross into any realm physically. You can travel to any one of the realms physically. And this is what time travel is. Because remember, each of these realms have got their own ages and their own seasons and cycles simultaneously.
Didn't Elon himself tell us that he was inventing technology so we could travel to Mars and other places on Earth?
Time travel, yeah. Absolutely. They are telling us the truth. For those with eyes to see and ears to hear.
I've got a geeky question on that one. You know, in terms of understanding how we think of things as planets, but how we were anciently everything was realms. You know, if you think of folklore, everything's realms, and your model fits with realms. And when you have this law of one kind of stuff that I think the Satanists, for want of a better word, believe, that where they have to tell us the truth and they're saying they're going to Mars. I wonder whether they're preparing for a trip to the lands where Mars is a sun.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense? As opposed to going to the light in the sky, going to the lands where that light provides daylight. Does that make?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is what the Freemasons call telling profane truths. That's what they call profanity, profane knowledge. So they're telling you the truth, but it's coded. Right? For those with eyes to see. That's the whole covering of one eye. Right? That they're mocking us. So yeah, they tell us the truth. So when they say they're going to colonize Mars, we're going to Mars very soon, we're preparing to go to Mars by 2020 or 2022, they are telling us a half-truth, a coded truth. And Mars is obviously, as we now know, not the luminary, because clearly they're not solid. We've now got telescopes, we can see that. And they're likely to be suns or luminaries from other realms, if you're to go by the cosmic egg model. So Mars would likely be the lands where Mars is the sun. In the same way, if there are beings living in that realm, they won't say they're coming to Earth. They'll say they're coming to Apollo. They would call this realm Apollo, after our sun, if they wanted to, speak in code. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right in what you're saying, that we have to just learn to decode what these occultists are trying to tell us or telling us, because they have to tell us in order for their magic to work, their spells to work. There has to be some truth.
I haven't done much digging in a lot of other religions or anything, but I know in the Bible, the King James Bible, they talk about like the Walking Dead. And I was thinking maybe John was speaking metaphorically there about all the people that are around that can't see all of this stuff.
Absolutely.
These people with the cell phone stuck to their face and the screens that they won't let go of.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we've all been the Walking Dead during the Iron Age. We've all been in hibernation during the winter age of consciousness. We've all been asleep. We've all been zombies. We've all been vampires. All of us. The word human is derived from the word monster. Right? We've all been monsters. Right? But now we're awakening. We're rediscovering ourselves. We're decoding the matrix, the mother's tricks, if you like. Right? We're awakening. So those of us who are awake, this is the story of the werewolf, right? The boy and the werewolf. This is what we're doing. We're shedding our skin. We're awakening. So it's fantastic. So yes, it's been bad, and yes, a lot of those things have negative things, but I try not to dwell on the negative, because that's the energy that you're manifesting. So I look at the positive and say, it's beautiful that I was a monster not so long ago. I was a zombie, and now I'm awakening and I'm discovering slowly my true potential, who I am and where I'm going, as are we all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I notice I don't care about what I look like anymore at all. It's not, I cut my hair when it gets too long, and I just use clippers. I haven't paid for a haircut in I don't know how long. I'm pretty bald on top anymore. But yeah, I have a little fryer tuck thing going on around the outside, and I just clip it when I need to. I don't care about any of that stuff anymore. It's not really relevant anymore.
Yeah.
And I haven't wanted to lose my antenna, so I haven't done the whole haircut thing in quite a few years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has definitely changed my life and how I look at so many things. Really put it in
absolutely. But it's special, and we're so lucky. We should really embrace this and be thankful that we're part of it and we're aware of it.
Yeah, and I've learned not to try to push it.
Yeah.
I'll share it, and that's it. And then they can do with it what they want.
Absolutely. And here's where it really gets, I won't stay on too long, but this is my favorite part of all of this. Once I reached a point where I said, okay, I sort of found a model that my heart and my soul is at peace with, that makes sense. I sort of now understand basically how time works, how physical matter came about, human beings, where we came from. But the big question that was missing is, where am I going? Where are we going? This event, okay, if it does happen, if ever, what does that mean? What changes for me individually, but also what changes for us collectively? So that was the big question. Where am I going? Where is this going? What's the point of knowing this? Okay, now that I know it, so what, basically? And this is where it really got exciting for me, because when I looked at the clock, I realized that, like I said, all the different realms have got different timelines and different ages, and everything starts from the beginning, from the center, sorry. So time begins at the center, right in the middle, magnetic north, at the North Pole. So the North Pole realm, the Aryan realm, is going to be 3,000 years. Right now, they are 3,000 years ahead of us in time. So they're coming out of their Bronze Age, going into their Silver Age, whereas we're coming out of our Iron Age, going into our Bronze Age. So we're always 3,000 years behind them. And likewise, the ripple goes backwards as well. The realm behind us is 3,000 years behind us. And then the last Saturnian realm, the Hyperborean one, they're 6,000 years behind us. So this is where the concept of time travel comes from, right? Bending space, time, and matter. There's some truth in that.
So that just seems counterintuitive, though, that the outer lands are younger. I don't know, maybe I'm confusing the description you're using.
Right. So the reason why they would be more advanced, or have been more advanced, is because they've been in the golden age of the last epoch. It's very difficult to explain it without showing you the actual.
Right. Well, that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. Is the outer lands would be more advanced? But just from hearing you describe it in that way, I thought you were saying it in the opposite, that the inner lands are more advanced than we are, and the outer ones are behind us.
Yeah. So it's I'll get it right this time. Right. The outer lands, the two outer lands, are behind us in time, right? But not necessarily in technology, because the two outer realms are still in the old epoch, the old Atlantean epoch. Whereas the cosmic egg universe.
So everything's upside down, essentially.
Well, not
truly.
Not really. Okay, the best way to explain it is this way. 6,000 years ago, we had a pole shift. This is when the Aryan realm was seeded from the center. This is when the clock struck 12, we had the big deluge, and everything was reset. That was 6,000 years ago. Now, when that happened, the first realm, the Aryan realm, had 3,000 years of a head start on this new cycle. Does that make sense? So they had their first Iron Age of the Aryan epoch. And then 3,000 years ago, we in this realm, the ripple went outwards, the spiral came outwards. We then shifted into our Iron Age that we've been in. But of course, they were now going into their Bronze Age at the center. And now we're having another shift.
I'm getting you.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And now, the realms on the outside, they were still in the golden age of the lost realm. The one on the outside, the Lemurian one, they have just had their reset now. They're having their fall now, their great deluge. Remember the sounds we were hearing in 2015? The big sounds in the sky, like metal or something crushing? Who remembers that?
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I think those were sounds coming from the apocalypse that was happening in the outer realm. They were having a physical, apocalypse. Literally, they were resetting from the old golden age into the new Aryan Iron Age. That's what those sounds were.
That thought's giving chills here for me and Zach, for sure.
Right, so maybe there's a war that happened out there, or a flood, or the electromagnetic dome opened up. I don't know. But it certainly sounds like something horrific was happening somewhere, if you remember those sounds. So that's what's happened in that outer realm. But the Saturnian realm still has another 3,000 years of the old golden age, the old Atlantean golden age. So it's like a very old, outdated technology, but they're still kind of ahead of us because it's still like a golden age technology. That makes sense. And then in 3,000 years, they'll have their reset and they'll begin their Aryan age. But of course, with every shift, those who've shifted already are going upwards, and those who are on the outside are following slowly, one shift at a time. Just like a clock. So it's a clock within a clock within a clock. If you imagine that cosmic egg, the rings of the thing, and you put a clock, and the clock starts ticking from the center, and every 3 hours, the clock shifts in every realm, but 3 hours behind, that is how it works.
So kind of
like gears.
Right.
Right now, Trump and the elites and all these people that are going to colonize Mars, they're only doing that because the Mars realm has just had their reset. They're now in the Iron Age. We are now going to be the Anunnaki of them, like they did to us when we had our reset 3,000 years ago. History repeats itself.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we have to do it to them because it was done to us.
Absolutely.
Like a bunch of high school kids. Oh, man.
You say that, Martin, and that's part of, I think, from when I listened to your talk, part of the understanding for the disruption in our civilization when the gates opened previously.
Yeah.
You said they're going to open again. Have you got any kind of theoretical calculation of how long the gates will stay open? Are we talking for days, weeks, months, years, hundreds of years?
Days, I think. Days. That's my theory, at least. So I think what's going to happen is on the solar solstice on the 20th of the 12th, 2020. If you notice as well, you remember Falcon X? They released a rocket last year, and it was very strange. It looked like it was like piercing through something. Who remembers that? It looked like,
Yeah, I do. I remember it very well.
yeah. Remember the date?
You know, it was like hit the dome or whatever was the clickbait
And
title.
there were like spirals coming from it, like spirals were spiraling. Right? Do you remember the date of that?
I don't run offhand, no.
It happened on the 19th/20th of the 12th last year. It's almost like they were practicing.
Interesting.
Right? For the main event. That's what they were doing. They were trying to get through the Van Allen belt, the dome. So they've got technology, and they obviously know that we're close, so they were practicing. That was a test run. So I think in 2020, it's going to happen, I think, on the solar solstice. That's when all the planets are going to align, the celestial bodies. It's going to take 3 days for them to align from the 20th, or the 21st rather, to the 25th. And they're going to be open from the 25th of December, 2020, to the 1st of the 1st, 2021. So about 7 days. That will happen for.
Well, Martin, my dog just gave me the look that I need to go walking. So it was awesome, man. Meeting you. This was a lot of fun. I hope we can do it again sometime. Yeah, thank you very much. I know you said you're going soon, so I just wanted to say my goodbyes now. I don't know.
He don't know how long he'll be gone, so I'm still here, but he has to run outside with the dog real quick.
Man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing and allowing me to share as well. And it was really good meeting you. And I'm sure we'll chat again, no doubt.
For sure.
Yeah. Cheers, Martin. It was a pleasure catching up again. Maybe not in the flesh this time, but yeah, really good.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. We certainly don't want to keep you long. Whenever you're ready to get out here, do. With this competition, I could be here all night, my friend. It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime, Martin. Absolutely anytime. Preferably after Adam puts on his headphones. He's dead set on having speakers. It's nice because after about 4 hours with headphones on, you realize that, oh my God, I've got headphones on. But
yeah,
it's all right.
I've put them around my neck instead of on the desk. Is that better?
That'll probably be better. Yeah, it was really picking it up.
See, I don't even want to wear them around my neck. It feels like I've come out of casualty.
Well, awesome. We've managed to go this whole time without a single break, which is
brilliant.
Pretty unusual for us.
Yeah, it's been great. How long have we been on for? A couple of hours, I think.
I think we're right at about an hour and a half, or going on 2 hours. I'll have to check here.
Two and a half, just over.
Whoa.
Yeah, we've had 2 hours just with Martin.
Yep. I just realized how late it was. That's how good it's been going. I hadn't looked at my clock once.
you dipped out. We had a little bit of the boat trip, Josh, and then Martin bombed in straight away. So yeah, good 2 and a bit hours, Martin. Thank you. It's been generous of you,
It's
pal.
been great. No, you're welcome. Thank you, guys, and I hope I've made sense and not sounded like a lunatic going around in circles. And
well,
sometimes I babble a little bit. I go on and on and on.
That's perfect for the Iron Realm, sir.
No, thank you, guys.
Fellow lunatics. So thank you, Martin. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No worries, guys. Thank you so much.
And certainly, when you do have some time, we'll hopefully get you at a different time of the day over there on our TFR show that Josh and I do on Tuesday and Friday mornings. Josh and I, and Zach shows up with us as well.
Yeah.
So certainly, we'd love to have you and pick your brain some more, man. This stuff needs to get around. And hopefully, we can make that connection with you and Norbz on another show, too. That would be amazing to have. He's been on a couple of times here, and, man, it's been just great stuff. Great stuff all around.
Oh, awesome. Awesome, brother. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, Martin. Thanks for coming on tonight. Thank you for everything that you're doing now. I keep up the
No
good
worries,
work.
brother.
Awesome. Thank you
No
so
worries.
much.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
You too. Have a great rest of your weekend.
You too. Love you, brother. Take care.
Yes, bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Gotta love it. Let me try this. Mr. Martin Kinney and the Cosmic Egg. That's good stuff.
I enjoyed that, Josh.
That
Heidi.
was great. Amazingly great. And everyone in chat has been amazing too. I've been so just enthralled with the conversation and trying to stay on top of it, and not lose the thread, that I've definitely been lax on chat. And having Zach here next to me in studio also a little distracting. It's just not, instead of talking to you guys in chat, I'm sitting here talking to him in person. So forgive me for not being more attentive. I love you guys all. It's been amazing. Thank you in chat.
I've not even typed out yet. Going back to controlling the OBS has been too much of a distraction for me.
Right? You had to get your feet back under you.
Yeah, I couldn't cope with checking the chat on my phone as well.
Well, for what it's worth, I did have to break out screen number 5 as I mounted my phone on its holder so I could do chat via the phone too. And might I say, it seems like it's been quite the ladies' night in chat. I have been glancing, and it seems like every time I turn my head, there's another wonderful flat Earth lady just.
Wow, I
popping in.
wasn't even paying attention to that aspect of it. You're certainly right. Lots of amazing minds, and we need to get some of these ladies on the show more often than we do. We definitely don't intend for it to be a man show at all.
Nothing like a flat Earth sausage fest.
Indeed. Indeed. And as we're joined by another lovely lady in chat. So definitely, yeah, we need to have a ladies' night here one Friday soon. In fact, we should just turn it over to them and all of us take a night off.
Couldn't Candy just take over on Friday?
Exactly, that's it, for sure. She could handle it.
That is something I've considered trying to arrange, because all they need is our stream key. So if we got ladies to do a show, they would need only use our stream key in their OBS, and they could stream it straight to our Iron Realm Media YouTube channel.
Huh. That's something I never even thought through that far. That's amazing thinking, man. Yeah, we certainly need to do that. That's just like a duh. Why we haven't done it now already? My goodness.
Design it, produce it, do it their own way. All they need is that stream key to stream it to our channel.
Pop in and do it with us. Yeah, that's awesome. Do it while we're, yeah, that's, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh-oh, we've been told don't do that by somebody, so maybe not. Nope. Being silly. Okay, Adam, here's the deal. You're going to have to get earbuds or something. I mean, yeah.
Oh man! All
You don't
right,
have to.
all right,
I mean,
all
Yeah,
right.
the speakers are not working. Sorry.
Wait
We can
there.
pretend like
They had people in chat ask who was using the reverb to make it sound more authentic or more spacey. They couldn't decide.
it's always more authentic. If you can use some nice classic reverb.
You see, that's what I reckon. You're just doing that, so I have to wear these bloody headphones. I've got my. Bad. Go on, speak again, but just I've got to change the bloody Skype settings and all.
Uh-oh. See, that's probably what happened earlier with my mic. The whole thing just messes up. And we had it good, and then apparently something happened during the shows where it went bad again. And I didn't do anything. I saw your messages, Josh. I had done nothing. It just, whatever was wrong.
Is that better for everyone? It's all right, but look, I got this shit hanging on my head now. Well, yeah, I suppose you're right. I should have grumbled. Mustn't grumble. Well, I was going to say. %, weren't enough. Well, what we got to say? We can't get the family pictures out of photo album out again. So I'm pretty cool. Other than wanting to, I didn't mention. We cut out just as you were plugging me for my little appearance on Nathan's show earlier, Josh, and then as you disappeared, the Skype dropped, and I don't know what went out on YouTube, but yeah, I wanted to mention that. Not so much the presentation, but the response afterwards, which I thought was interesting. See if I can find it. But what I thought was interesting was that the way that a straw man was instantly built by PMARS, who sounded quite frankly insane at the time. To be perfectly honest, he was quite, as Nathan had put it, triggered. I could say that. I don't know what that means really. I'm sure there's a little bit more than angry. But yeah, I thought it was an odd way of behaving, but more importantly, that there was an odd response or an instant building of a straw man. I've got the picture. I'll stick it on. Oh. Yeah, well, tough. That's what you get for. Well, I'm just going to put shit back. That's all I'm doing. It's all I can do. Bonus is I get to take these headphones off. No. Yeah. No, they've gone.
But yes, rather than just dribble on for the next hour and ruining this awesome show we had for hours now, let's, I guess, wrap this up unless someone has something they want to say.
It doesn't matter. Until Adam unmutes us, nobody's going to hear us anyway.
I think you might be back. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll have to get that sorted. These headphones, though, innit? It did that last time, and then I had to whip them out and just plug in the old jack plug ones, which is straightforward. It's this USB shit. Just throws things off.
All right, he says we're all back. He says we're good now. Now, if anybody's got anything else, would be the time. Anybody?
other than saying farewell with Zach when he gets back with Hank, other than that, I'm pretty done. I don't really have anything. I was just blown away by the whole discussion with Martin, and my mind's still reeling and trying to wrap my head around some of it.
It's quite a big picture, isn't it? Really, that he paints. So it's hard to get your head around it.
It definitely is, and it definitely lines a lot of little eggs up in a row. But some of the other ones that I thought were in a row now are kind of off kilter.
I think it raises stuff that is worth a good look at for me. I mean, I'm quite happy with the cosmology point of view. You know, it looks an interesting model, and I'd be interested. I think when we spoke to Norbz, I'd be interested to see how it holds up in terms of the movement of the wandering stars, planets, whatever, and how that works. But yeah, there's a lot that for me is just not quite my cup of tea in terms of the spirituality stuff. Certainly, as I was saying, in terms of this ascending and descending, and it's So it's not. I don't disagree with it. I think there's a lot of stuff in there, and I think Martin's drawn on so much stuff that it's anything that you look at he's done. It has merit in researching it for me. Do you know what I mean? In terms of looking at where he's drawn these things that you have an objection to, or that's weird or whatever. So it's and generally, as you were saying, it's not drawn from one source. It's derived from a combination of different. You guys frozen there?
No, actually, I'm trying to play catch up in chat. That's actually what I've been trying to do. Was doing it on my phone for a minute, but now it's acting up. I'm
That's
going
it
back
then.
to chat.
That's it then. It's time. It's time for bed for me then. Time we got. Yeah.
Well, to everyone in chat, as I said, I don't want to start naming names and miss people at this late hour, but thank you all so much. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making it great. The questions were great. The chatter that was going on in between you guys is always amazing. The thinking that sends me off doing research. I've got 5 or 6 tabs open on top of my show here to go back and check out for later. So thank you all so much.
Yep, too bad Zach couldn't make it back. I'm sure he sends his love and gives Zach our best too. Well, what do you got with him?
He's talking about tomorrow, but it's like, man, it's just now the weekend. This is the time to go do stuff. So I don't know if we're going to let him leave or let him stay. I mean, make him stay or let him leave yet. But definitely, he said, before he left, he loves everybody, and just y'all, just there's no way to explain this connection that's been made with this. I hope he can continue bringing this to everybody. It's been amazing.
The Hank keeping him away.
What'd you say, Adam?
It'll be Hank keeping him away, won't it? He'll be up to something.
That's exactly it. Every time they go walk, it takes a minute though. He does some exploring with Hank usually, so he's in a new place too. So he's having as much adventures as Zach is. Speak of the devil, he's back.
And the devil, apparently.
Right, exactly.
Well, he definitely made a huge impression on our household as well. Again, Dixie picked up on it right away, just his calming demeanor. And even the way he talks to Hank. We don't have his patience. We tend to yell at our dogs sometimes. But
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. The patience level is just beyond belief.
Indeed. So we definitely miss his calming spirit around here.
Can you hear him now?
Check, check.
No.
Nah. Here, get over here.
What happened? It was working so well.
I don't know. It
That
was
sounds
working
so good right there.
Yeah.
All
Who
right.
knows?
Yeah, sorry it took so long. It seemed like he knew we were leaving in the morning, and he just had to hit all those trees that he hadn't quite hit yet.
I bet you there's a bunch that he missed. You'd probably do better just to wait and head out probably Monday morning.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Let him get all those trees he's missing. There's probably 4 or 5 bushes in the back. He don't even know that are there. So,
Come here. You want to come up?
hey,
Look,
did
I
you
like
get the show?
so you should cherish all those extra moments you got.
There was just one thing I thought we need to mention before we do head out tonight, and that's the picture frame you've got behind you. It's had a bit of a journey that Josh can probably describe, but probably a shout out, thanks to Ruben for that. He did make it there, bruv. We got it from him at the Flat Earth conference, and
I love it. I've
Yeah,
already
he-
had compliments on it.
Just to let Walt know, though, Hank already has claim to it. I'm pretty sure this was the one thing he hit when he was in your
Did he
house,
hit?
Josh.
Well, I don't think it was that specifically, but that the box that stuff was in, I think,
Yeah.
might have gotten hit.
Yeah,
Because that was wrapped up in the shirt underneath the toothpaste. I don't think Hank got that or anything in the box. It might have just been the outside of the box.
but you see, that's just Hank being clever. He knew
That's it. He
that
knew.
box had to get there, so he thought, I'll mark it in case the box gets lost. Hank knew.
Yeah, he has pretty good intuition.
Yes, you do. Come on. There he is. There he is.
Yeah, he's a big lover. He's a big baby. But he scares people. He does. It's funny.
Little Hank.
Yeah. I mean, I learned the lesson a long time ago. You don't show dogs fear, and they kind of treat you a different way. If you show them fear, they're going to show you a reason to be scared. You know, they're going to pick up on that and be like, ooh, I can bully this person
Tuna
around.
pump. Tuna pump. Tuna pump.
But yeah, a lot of people, I don't know, they haven't. I've learned that on my travels, that a lot of people are scared. And Hank's not that big of a dog. He's not small by any means.
Medium.
But yeah, he's a medium dog.
Medium.
But yeah, people have been terrified of him.
Medium.
He's the biggest baby there is. He acts like he's tough when he's in a vehicle or something, but
Oh yeah, every time we could go somewhere, he was guarding the vehicle we were in, Jack. Oh yeah, he was watching him.
he gets out and then he just wants to go get his butt scratched and lick him.
Or both.
Yeah.
I'll lick his butt and then lick your face. That's his favorite, huh? That's your favorite, huh? Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed chatting with Martin.
Yeah, it was great.
He's an open-minded guy.
You gonna climb all the way up? Are you gonna climb all the way up?
Maybe 10 a.m. will be a better time for.
That's what I was hoping. Yeah.
So maybe he and Norbz can meet up on the ironworks. Hey, Walt.
Hey.
When can everybody hear the ironworks?
That's Tuesdays and Fridays, 10 GMT. Oh, hang on. I'm getting scratched a little. Oh, there we go. 4 Central, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. That's AM here in the States. It's early, but it's worth it.
Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death. This is Uncle Walt from the Ironworks. Josh, Corey, and I have chosen to look at life with no fear. No fear of the unknown. No fear of questions about the supposedly well-known. No fear of ridicule for thinking outside the familiar fool's lines. No fear of the boot on the neck of those refusing the party line. No fear of taking on those so convinced of their beliefs they would sooner drink the Kool-Aid than believe they've been fools made. In this world filled with meats whose cattle think, can truth's protective layers be peeled back to show the tender, juicy pink? Are we all just grist for the mill? Souls sold against our will, or is that just how it feels? When you're filled to the rim with trivialities so fear-filled and grim, break clear of the fear. Right here, Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 a.m. on TFR. Josh and I and you will hammer out the impurities of technology-driven groupthink. fold in a dash of logic and quench it all with a bit of absurdity. The Ironworks. Break free of the fear.
That's how you do that.
I know that, dude. But yeah, definitely check it out when you have some time.
Well, I don't think I got anything.
If it wasn't for TFR, we wouldn't have this gentleman sitting here right now. So
Yeah, that's definitely how I met you guys.
And if it weren't for Billy Ray Valentine, we wouldn't be on TFR.
see, 6 degrees of Billy Ray. That's what it is. Or actually, these days it's more like 6 degrees of Ben Hameen.
Right? But look at the bright side. We now have just a couple degrees separation from Crow 777, so now our reach extends everywhere.
Oops, man, it's taking a long time to unmute. Something's going on with Skype, I guess. Anyway, yeah, his debut show this last week was amazing. Certainly go check that out while it's still free. And if you need to go subscribe, you should.
Definitely should. And that's Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. I do believe that's correct. Let's see, we have Paul in the Plane over on Tuesdays as well, just before Mark Sargent does his show, Strange World. So they round out an epic Truth Tuesday over there on TFR. Let's see, I think that's about everything. I'm worn slick. I'm tired.
Yeah, Zach and I cheated. We had a nap.
What are you guys up to then after this?
I think I'm just going to break all my headphones and mount big speakers down here in my studio.
I think that's what I'm going to do, turn my speakers up.
Go away.
I did get out the night vision.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Damn straight. We're going to go to night vision, right? After
Even if
this.
there are no stars. It was kind of cloudy.
Is it cloudy? We'll find a way.
Yeah.
We'll do
Hey,
some
Zach,
cloud testing first.
Tell everybody a little bit about your night vision scope. It's a badass little scope he's got.
Dude, I was so blown away when he hands me this thing. He's like, squeeze the top. I'm like, what? I do it, and it does the light. I'm like, dude, what the hell kind of alien shit is this?
Yeah, I'll go grab it. I can show
he'll
people.
grab it and show you. It's crazy. It works off of some level 1 technology or something. I don't know. It's alien stuff. There's no doubt. From the third ring out. Or maybe from the inner pole. That might be it. Maybe I'm backwards again.
It reminds me of one of those things that you could buy with the Marlboro Miles. If anybody remembers.
I remember yes.
Everybody collecting Marlboro Miles. I used to have like 3 Marlboro leather jackets.
Coleman. There we go. Now do it.
It was made by Coleman back in the 90s, I believe. But yeah, that's it.
Squeeze the thing. Show him.
Do it.
And all you do, this little lever on top, you squeeze it one time. And of course, with it being bright in here, it doesn't last that long. It'll automatically shut itself down. But when you're outside and it's dark and it's not using up all the battery right away because it's so bright, it'll last about 2 minutes, one pump, just pumping it one time. And I believe it has a 4x optical zoom on it. That's what the guy told me. It's neat though. This is how I saw crazy stuff up in the sky.
Yeah, we'll go see what we can find for sure.
But yeah, Coleman made it.
I'm so used to muting after I talk that I'm constantly muted today.
You're just being a dick.
I am.
Yeah, but I guess the military had bought the patent out on the.
And it's like
that's
level.
why you can't buy it anymore. It's real expensive now. But I picked it up for like $150. I thought it was worth every penny. It has a little thing on the side here. You can put batteries in there, and it's like an infrared. So if you're in a cave or something like that where there is no light at all and it's totally pitch black, you can turn that on and you'll be able to see without having to put a light source out. It'll light everything up in infrared.
That's insane.
Get the hell out.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
awesome.
cool. I've never used it because I never found what kind of batteries to use. Something I really should look into, though.
Probably look it up online after the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, very cool.
Ooh, one other thing, just real quick. We might as well double check. Has anybody found any footage of a high altitude balloon above 50 kilometers? We're still looking out there for that shit, right?
We certainly are.
Not here. Have you become addicted? You've gone from 1 to 2.
Well, here's where I stand on my They Live challenge. This was the Oculus set that I bought first,
right,
but apparently it works for either the S7
Yeah, it's
or
very
it could be
specific.
the S7 Edge, but definitely it does not fit the S7 Active, which is what my phone is. So I can make it work, sort of, but it's meh. So now I have these, which are like a universal brand. It'll hold the iPhone and most any version of your Androids. And it's got a little bit more durability and things you can do with it as far as adjustments. So I got Stan Smith over on Hangouts asking me if I've been viewing things the way I should, and the answer is no. But that's only because I couldn't in these, so I had to get these.
Maybe that's why I've had so much issues. Maybe no, because it's designed for my phone. I don't know. Maybe I should try a different set of goggles with my phone too, and see if it improves the nausea.
I don't think it will. I really don't think it will. Yeah, I was using them. I was using this pair, so I finally got it and set up in the 360, the cardboard view on YouTube, and was watching them. And nope, I can definitely see how any more than about 90 seconds that I'll just be hurling up all over my own shoes. So it's definitely a tool, not a toy.
Right.
But I'm excited to actually get in there and start looking at some of these pictures and taking a good look at these videos and getting a better grasp. Because again, if they're plotting where that sun is and the difference where it is from day to day, it's pretty telling as to movement that we should be making if we really are in that heliocentric model.
But it's only the movement of the apparent image. As we were talking earlier about electromagnetics affecting point of resolution, that I think has got a lot more to do with perspective, the arc that it's creating, and your sphere of vision, and as we were saying earlier, the electromagnetic effects. I'm curious to see your reaction to, you know, what the insight it gives you wearing them, Josh. Then I might buy a pair.
They were really super cheap. I can't imagine that this little universal pair was going to be much more than the Samsung VR Oculus set that I have here. It's got some weird controls that I haven't quite figured out, because apparently you have little reticle somewhere in there, so you can like point it. So eventually down at the bottom by your feet, you'll see your controls for the video, the play, the pause, the scroll bar, all that weird stuff. And somehow I can put that reticle on it and select it, so I can pause it and stuff just by looking. And my son said it was like through head movements or something. So I don't know. I'd be interested to see how that works. But yep, I'm going to talk to Stan, and we'll try to get all this stuff at least a better understanding, because this is really the one thing they've said we've been lacking. And as far as I know, I'm the only one that have actually, well, Walt. I guess Walt doesn't count because he never really followed through with them as far as.
Oh no, I watched a few, but I couldn't really grasp enough through to get what they were trying to show us.
Yeah, I can't wait till technology advances enough that we could all throw on a pair and experience the same video together. I think that'd be cool. I'm not quite sure if and how that'd be possible, but anyway, that's what I've got planned for my weekend.
Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I'm off for a game of juniors football in the morning. Gonna run the line again till my knees hurt. Try and keep up with 13-year-olds. It's getting hard work, mate, honestly. But,
I bet it is.
that's been good fun tonight, guys. Enjoy your journeys, however long you end up staying there for, Zach. Keep him, lock him down.
I will
more.
do my best.
Yeah. Have fun, guys.
All right, Adam. Have fun tomorrow. Have a great rest of your weekend.
And you too, pal.
Take care. Love you.
Oh, maybe over here would be better. Yeah, he ain't here over there. I think that one's gone. I don't even hear it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And a big shout out to our missing member this evening, one Mr. John Savage.
Absolutely.
Savage!
Absolutely.
Savage!
Sorry.
Well, I'm sure we'll be listening to this. If he's not still listening live, we'll be listening to it again very soon. So
Yes, he was just in chat throwing enigmatic messages at us. I have no clue what he meant, so I'm going to give it up.
good looking out, John. I appreciate all your effort, even though you couldn't be here. At least you're got the audio. You really did make a good effort trying to get our attention to let Adam know that he muted us. He says, alert, 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 alert. I give up.
Too funny.
Yeah, that was good stuff. All right. I think it's time to get the hell out of here.
Yes, it is. Thank you all again.
It was fun.
Yep, that's it. I got nothing. I'm not about to spit a freestyle. So thanks everybody for tuning in to another Iron Realm Media's Flat Earth Friday Fringe Cast with guest Martin Kinney. That was an exciting episode. So much information, so much positivity. You can't go wrong. I love it. All right. Well, be sure you tune in next week to see what the hell we have in store, because I don't have a clue yet. But we'll see you right back here. Same flat time, same flat channel. I love you guys.
Love you, man.
Love you.
Love you.